Morning. My name is Kevin Wagner. I'm the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate for today's hearing, and I hereby call this meeting into order. I want to begin by explaining how this is going to work. We will hear building cases generally first, and the city will call the cases as they appear on the agenda. If you appeared today virtually, we will hear those cases before the cases where no one has appeared. Once your case is called, typically you would come to the podium, but I'm guessing they will unmute your microphone. The city will put on its testimony and evidence first. Then you will have an opportunity to review this evidence and ask any questions of any of the city's witnesses. You'll have an opportunity to testify with and present me with any evidence of your own. Once all the testimony and evidence have been presented, I will make a ruling. The ruling will typically be mailed to you within a few days. If you have any questions during the process, please feel free to ask them. This is not a formal courtroom. But the formal rules of evidence do not apply, but all testimony is taken under oath. So if you're going to testify or you think you may testify or there's a possibility that you might testify, would you please rise and raise your right hand and I will swear you in. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida.
I do. I do.
I do.
I do.
Please be seated. Thank you. And the city can call their first case.
Okay, first case number 1333 Potter Road, CE 20070124, 333 Potter Road.
Yes, good morning. Ken Conrad. It shows Joseph Olivia on the screen. I'm using his laptop. We issued a stop work order for 333 Potter on April 29th, 2020 for a illegal shed on the back side of the property. Also, there was a notice of violation, service certified mail and standard delivery on 9/14/20. The notice of violation affidavit was physically posted at the residence on 9/29/20. And to date, the building permit has been issued. It was issued on October 1st, 2020. However, we still need a final building inspection per the Florida Building Code section 110.3.
Have you been in contact with the respondent? I assume since they got.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, well, I've talked with Tom Moore with the building
Sir,
department.
state your name for the record, please.
Oh, John Basinger.
Go ahead, Mr. Basin.
Yeah, I talked with Tom Moore the other day with the building department. I have to, in order for me to move the shed to get it by the approved plans, I have to do work. And so since I was told to stop work, I haven't started work until I just got the permit. I just filed the notice of commencement yesterday. And so I've got scheduled to start the work to get it within compliance with the approved plans.
Hey, John, now I think there was also a zoning issue with the setback.
That's correct.
There's supposed to be a 5-foot setback. Am I correct?
That's correct, and that's reflected on the approved plans. Kizzy Alexander reviewed them in zoning, and so the work that I'll be doing will bring it into compliance with the zoning regulations also. Okay,
very well. If there's any questions, you can call Tom or you can call me. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, Tom and I spoke, and I have the guy scheduled. I have to pour some concrete to start the whole thing off, so I have him scheduled for end of this week, first of next week, so we can get this thing rolling. And
just make sure, do me a favor, John, schedule that inspection so we can verify that setback for you, please.
Yes, sir. Well, I will. After I pour the concrete, I have to move the shed and alter it to get it within compliance, but I'll figure out. That me? Sorry.
Okay.
No, real quick, this is the moderator. Again, if I can remind everybody, if you're not actively participating in the current case, please mute your microphones and turn your camera off. Thank you.
Mr. Basinger, what kind of time frame do you need to complete this project?
Well, I'm doing most of the work myself. So I think, depending on inspections, 45 to 60 days.
Officer Conrad, what remedy is the city seeking here?
I'm going to recommend 120 days, just because weather situations and everything, give him some additional time. He does have his permit, so I think we can work with him on that.
Does that work for you, Mr. Basinger?
Yes, sir. That sounds great. Thank you very much.
All right, in case CE 20070-124, I'm going to make the following findings of fact on law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of section 105.1. I'm going to give the respondent 120 days to bring the property into compliance, or a fine of, Mr. Officer Conrad, did you have a fine amount in mind?
$100 thereafter.
Or a fine of up to $100 per day may be issued. All right.
So just to clarify, that's 120 days from today?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, John. I
Oh,
appreciate
one
it.
more question. Can I hop out of the meeting now?
Yeah, you're done.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a
Thanks,
great
John.
weekend. All right.
Appreciate
Bye.
it. You too. Thank you.
So thank you.
Next case,
Having trouble hearing you.
next case number 756th Street, CE 2007039 number 98, number 756th Street.
Good morning, this is Tim Large, Chief Plumbing Inspector. I'm preparing this case for Gary Soutfelder. This property was initially cited in July 22nd of 2020 for an addition that was constructed without permits or inspections. And also there's a live-in trailer was on the property connected to the plumbing system without city approval. To date, we did receive good service through certified mail return receipt. And to date, no permits have been applied for, and the city is requesting all the permits to be issued within 30 days or face a $50 a day fine.
Is there anyone here on behalf of the respondent? I believe it's Raimundo Cardenas, and I apologize if I did not pronounce that correctly.
All right, I'll do my best to try to get this as soon as possible. I know you're in the time frame, but
Can we mute whoever that is that's talking?
It's in the background.
Oh, it's okay. All right, so you're asking for 30 days for them to apply for and have the permits issued, not to complete the project, right?
Yeah, just to get the permits issued and to get city approval for that live-in trailer. I didn't get a chance to check on it, but I don't believe the trailer is going to be allowed to be there. I believe they're going to have to be in like a park or something like that. So I don't think zoning is going to be able to approve that anyway, but I want them to get the paperwork in and get all the required permits issued and approvals for that trailer within 30 days.
What's the work that was done on the property that needs a permit?
There's an addition that was done. There was electrical work, building work, some mechanical work. That's the addition right there. And we have not been able to gain access into there to find out the extent of everything that was done.
Okay.
That's part of the addition there that was done without permits.
And you said that service was done through
Certified mail return receipt.
Did you post the property as well?
Yes, yeah, the property was posted.
All right, in case CE 200703998, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find property in violation of 105.1, 109.4, and 110.1. Give the respondent 30 days to have permits issued or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 3197 Charter Way, CE 200303038. We have no one signed in.
do I gotta sign?
Do we have no one signed in for the remaining cases, Erica?
No, not just for this one. I'll say it for each case if we have someone signed in, if I know of it.
Stand out that line there.
Okay.
Right here? Yep. Okay.
Oh.
Alberto Fernandez, building inspector. On March 14th, a stop work order was issued on the property for installing air conditioning without a permit. On September 10th, a certified letter was mailed. On September 15th, I posted an affidavit on the property. As of today, nothing has been done. So I could give 30 days and $50 after.
Are we talking about case number 4?
That's it right there. 197 Charter Way.
Case number 3.
Okay, my bad. So you had an AC put in without a permit?
Correct.
Have you had any contact with the owner?
No, I tried on several occasions.
And you wanted to give them what, how many days?
30 days,
And the fine you were looking for was?
50 a day after.
And that is a new AC?
Yes.
All right, in case CE 200300308, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 105.1. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $50 per day may issue.
All right. Thank you.
Number 721 Nathan Hill Road, CE 200200031. I have no one signed in. I'm sorry, I do have someone. No one signed in for that one.
Hello?
Go ahead,
Can
Officer
you-
Kempa.
Yeah, I thought I signed in, but I'm here.
I meant respondent.
Hello?
Go ahead, Officer Kempa. Go ahead and present your case.
This was a air conditioner installed without a permit, was served by US certified mail. The property was posted. The city would ask for 30 days to comply with both permitting and inspections, or $100 a day fine.
That is a new air conditioner.
Yes, sir.
Have you had any contact with the respondent?
No.
Did you post the property?
Yes.
All right, in case CE 200200031, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 105.1 and 110.3. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $100 per day may issue. Thank you, Officer Kemp.
Thank you.
Case number 29, 310 52nd Street, CE 200400090. Number 29, 310 52nd Street. No one signed in.
Tilio Belisle, plumbing inspector for the city of West Palm Beach. Initially cited the property April 16th, 2020 for interior alterations and exterior alterations being performed without permit or inspection. Received proper notice via certified mail and posting on site. City is requesting for them to obtain the permit for the water heater, a miscellaneous plumbing permit for the miscellaneous plumbing for the washing machine and exterior plumbing that they have on site, and a separate electrical permit is required.
I'm doing a meeting.
Your magistrate?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm requesting to give an extension for this particular property. I'd like to give them 90 days to obtain all permits. And after that, $100 a day. I'm working with the owners on this case, trying to assist them in getting their permits that they are required to get this project completed.
The plumbing issues that they have, the permit issues that they have. Let me see if I understand you correctly. So you're saying that they installed a water heater without a permit, and they've done exterior and interior plumbing work without a permit. What do they need the electrical for?
For the washing machine and the proper connections to the water heater.
And you've seen all this work?
Yes, these are all my pictures.
Okay. So all right, in case CE 200400090, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 105.1 and 109.4. I order the respondent to come into compliance by obtaining their permits within 90 days or a fine of $100 per day may issue. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Case number 35607 Park Circle East, CE 200500032.
City of West Palm Beach, Inspector Belial.
And right there.
Received proper notice via certified mail and posting on site. This property was initially cited May 5th of 2020.
Do you have somebody speak Spanish?
And the
Mr. Belial, hold on one second. Do we have a translator?
Do you have a translator?
Yeah.
She brought a translator with her. Just come on up with her.
Officer Belial, just go slowly so the translator can translate.
Okay, is it okay to proceed?
Yes.
The property was cited for roofing and enclosing a patio outside area done without proper permit or inspections.
All right, stop for a second, let her translate.
Can you tell her what he's saying? Okay.
Sí, es el patio.
All right, you can keep going, Officer Belial.
So the property needs to obtain the proper permits within 30 days. After that, $50 a day.
Has to get a permit within 30 days.
This is somebody in Spanish to explain something. The permit is already here. A permit is already here.
I can't see what
She's saying that the permits are there with her.
Yeah, the permit is the first inspection, and I call for final inspection.
Can you give me a moment, Magistrate?
Yeah.
You can.
1 second, he's looking on his system to see if what he has.
I'm here for a call. Okay. I was trying to see, do I just wait for you guys?
What property?
417 Division Avenue, apartment 80.
All right, your Magistrate.
Go ahead.
The application, they applied for the permit October 2nd, but they have not obtained the permit. Once they've obtained the permit, they'll be held to the Florida Building Code and receive a approved inspection within 180 days. It looks to me as appears that it's going through the plan review process. Once they've obtained this permit, they can the case will close.
Okay, so we want to give them, let me let the translator, you want to translate that?
¿Usted nos puede traducir lo que dijo, por favor?
I don't speak Spanish, I don't know what she said.
Can you let her know that she has 180 days to get the permit?
But
No, to get inspections, 180 days.
Let me try here. So what I'm going to do, if you can tell her, is I'm going to give her 30 days to obtain the permit. She applied for the permit, but it hasn't been issued yet. Once the permit is issued, this case will close. There might be a new one if she doesn't actually complete the work, but this case will close if she can obtain that permit within 30 days. Can you tell her that?
que para las inspecciones nos van a dar 30 días para completar esto. Ahora, 30 días. ¿Está bien? Yeah? Okay.
All right, sorry. So in case CE200500032, I'm going to make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 105.1, 109.4, and FBC 107.1. I'm going to order the respondent to come into compliance by obtaining her permits within 30 days. If she does not do so, a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Case number 31.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 312717 Poinsettia Avenue, CE 2006050. They're here via Zoom.
Good morning. Attilio Belisle, plumbing inspector for the city of West Palm Beach. The property was initially cited.
Is it?
June 4th of 2020 for a fence being installed without proper permit. They applied for the fence permit on June 5th, but it has not been issued. The city has obtained proper service via certified mail and proper posting on site.
Dr. Blau, can you tell me why the permit has not been issued?
The permit has not been issued. I can check the system. Give me 1 second.
This is. Nice to meet you. Just gonna mute it. Yes, incoming process.
Well, while he's doing that, is there's somebody here for the respondent, Maya Kuriswamy? I'm sorry if I said that wrong.
No, that's okay. This is Maya Guruswamy. I'm the owner of the property, and the fence contractor is here, Dan Usher, so he can speak to.
Good morning.
The question.
Yes, the permit right now, plans have been uploaded, it passed zoning. and it's just pending incoming processing to be issued. The reason we pulled our sub-permit under the master, which the master permit site plan showed a fence, and the zoning notes after passing zoning for the site plan stated that the only other required permits were for landscaping. So that's the reason. But right after we did get the citation, we went in for permits. We uploaded the survey late due to it already being on the master permit. I thought all we had to do was submit a permit app since the fence was shown on the master permit site plan, which was approved. So as of right now, the survey showing the fence and the drawings that were uploaded to the city have passed zoning and are just waiting to be issued through incoming processing. So
in addition, this violation was cited like last June, and Dan Usher went and got a permit the next day. Again, he hadn't gotten it originally because there was no requirement for it, as he had discussed. So this is the second time we're submitting for a permit. And the same issue has come up with the irrigation. We have receipts of the permit for irrigation and fence from June. And we tried, and plans were submitted. And our irrigation contractor is on the call as well, Bob Ulsker. And he can explain further. He has all the documentation to show that he submitted everything appropriately.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let me go back to Inspector Belisle. Is the city still proceeding on the other issues beside the fence, or is this just about the fence?
It's the irrigation and the fence, but however, the permits are ready to be issued. We just need to give them an extension of 30 days to obtain the permits. And after that, $50 a day.
Let me ask Ms. Guruswamy, is 30 days a sufficient amount of time to get these permits issued for you?
So with the, it may be for the fence?
Yeah, for the fence it isn't. Like I said, it's just incoming processing, just has to be processed through the city now. Zoning has approved it.
30 days?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For the irrigation, however, we received the permit for pickup 2 weeks ago, but there was a penalty fee of $300 that we don't feel is appropriate since we paid $140 for the permit in June and were approved for the permit and paid it. So it was lost in the system. This has happened to 2 other permits of this irrigation contractor. So we don't feel it's an error of our own. And Bob Ulsker, who is on the call, spoke to Samantha Hill and submitted a letter with all the evidence that he submitted plans appropriately in June and got a permit. And so we're waiting for the building official to, or yourself, I'm not sure who needs to say, to approve that we don't have to pay that additional penalty.
Inspector Belisle, do you understand any of that?
Yes. Your magistrate, in order to waive the 4 times the fee, you have to submit a letter to the building official requesting for that to be lifted. Once the building official has received the letter, he's got to give his approval on the letter requesting for the 4 times the fee be lifted. The work was done before the permit was issued on site.
Bob, are you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, so basically what happened was because of the COVID and everything, we were forced to submit this application online on June 1st. We submitted the application as well as the irrigation plans to the permit librarian for the city of West Palm Beach. They also requested in the directions is to send the original application by mail. We attached the original copy of the irrigation plans as well as the original application via US mail, as well as an email. We got an email response saying that they received everything and that would be $130 fee, which we paid and we have a receipt for. And in that same email, they said that they would send us a invitation to upload all of this information, I guess on another format. We did not receive that invitation. This was the first time my office, dealing it this way. We always came in and did it person to person. But we never received that invitation. We have no records of it on our emails. So we assumed that the plans were emailed as well as sent on a hard copy via the US mail. We assumed they got them and that everything was okay. Now, although we didn't get an email saying that the permit was ready for pickup, but again, because we've pulled several permits in the city of West Palm Beach over the 30 years we've been in business, and never, the city's always been very, quick as far as getting the permits out to us within 7 to 10 days. So we did not see any reason to believe that it wasn't an issue at that time. Only to find out after we were cited and investigating everything that the permit librarian is claiming that they never received the plans. And I'm finding out now that that invitation that they send out after the permit application has been submitted is to specifically upload the plans to this website. And I think that's where the fallout is they never got the plans through the right channel, although they had received the plans via email and US mail.
Let me go back to the inspector. Is that a fair rendition of what you think happened here?
I'm investigating that right now. Give me 1 second, your magistrate. I will have an answer here momentarily. All right, your magistrate.
All right.
The letter requesting relief from the building official from the 4 times the fee, that's the question at hand, correct, Bob?
Yeah, well, we've already submitted that. We submitted that to Samantha. Unfortunately, I don't know her last name.
Samantha Hill.
Okay, and she was going to present it to, I guess, the chief inspector. I'm not sure who.
Building
We're
official.
waiting for response on that.
Okay, so your magistrate, I'm going to go ahead and request that they get the permit within 60 days. Pending the letter needs to be looked at by the building official. Bob, I highly advise that we follow up, that you follow up with this letter and find out where it's at and make sure that it gets in the right hands to obtain this permit, within the 60 days.
Sure, the permit's ready. It's ready to be released. It's just there's an additional $300, and that's what we're contesting. So yeah, in the event if they approve or disapprove of that, it's ready to be picked up. So it would be just a matter of paying or not paying that fine, and we'll have it in hand.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do, because I don't know what the resolution of the fee issue is going to be, but that's beyond my jurisdiction. that's up to the building official to resolve and to go through that process. The only question for me is whether or not the property is in compliance, and if it's not, to give sufficient time. Based on what you told me, I'm going to give you extra time because there's obviously things that need to be resolved regarding the irrigation permit. But I can't order the building official to grant or not grant that. That's not the scope of my authority. So this is what I'm gonna do. In case CE 200600050, make the following findings of fact in life. I notice is sufficient. I do find violations on the property. As to the fence permit, I'm going to give the respondent 30 days to bring the property in compliance by getting the fence permit issued. As to the irrigation permit and the plans required, I'm going to give the respondent 60 days to resolve that, or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you should definitely go follow up with the building official and see if you can get that resolved sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case number 432417 Spruce Avenue, CE 2008027, number 432417 Spruce Avenue.
Special Magistrate, this is Joe Petrick from the Code Enforcement Office. Inspector Blair, would you like me to go first on this? I know we were working together.
Yes,
on it.
go ahead first there, Joe. I'll mute my microphone.
Okay, this is reference to case number 43, Code Enforcement case number 43 on the agenda, and they both go hand in hand. And if it's okay with the magistrate, Inspector Blair will go right after this one on case number 27.
So 43 and 27 are connected?
Yes, sir. They're separate cases, but they relate to each other. And I know the respondent has an attorney on the line as well.
Or why don't we deal with them one at a time then, if they're separate cases?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. So we're in reference to case 27, CE 200200091. Erica.
We're on 43.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought we were doing 43 first.
Go ahead.
All right. Joe Petrick, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This case originated back in February in conjunction with the building department. Building inspector, as mentioned, the building inspector will be speaking on after this case. This code enforcement case is a reference to a business opening without a business tax receipt or certificate of use. There is also a fence installed without a permit. This case had to be noticed from the February hearing as a respondent. Change of Sunbiz records just prior to the case going to hearing. The property owners are the same. The respondent is familiar with code enforcement processes, been cited on several occasions, and has appeared at hearings on a regular basis over the years. In late February and early March, I met with the tenants, who are also the business owners, and the son of the property owner over the phone and at the property itself on several occasions to discuss the violations and ways to bring the property into compliance. Notice for today's hearing was issued via certified mail-in posting on August 28th and gave the respondent 30 days to come into compliance by obtaining a business tax receipt and certificate of use for the business or cease operating the business, and 30 days to remove the fence or obtain a permit for the fence. According to an email I received late yesterday afternoon, the respondent's attorney stated that the fence has been removed. I just have to go out there and verify that. So as of today, the property remains in violation of code sections 82-144 and 22-32A for the business tax receipt and certificate of use, and Florida Building Code 105.1 and 110 for the fence put up without a permit. The city is asking for compliance within 30 days or a $250 fine be assessed.
Officer Petrick, what is the business being operated on the property, and you confirm that it's being operated?
I'm sorry, so did you ask what type of business it was?
Yeah, what is the business being operated, and did you confirm that it was in operation?
It was a kava bar.
Okay. And it's operating?
Yes, sir.
All right, and there's an attorney here for the respondent?
Yes, good morning. Anthony Arsali on behalf of the respondent. Before we start on this case, I think it would be more appropriate to talk about number 27 because the permits that are at issue that are underlying the BTR and COU those have to be resolved first under 27, and then you have 43 come in in terms of the BTR and COU, because the BTR and COU, they've been applied for. They were applied for back in January. They've been put on hold as a result of the permits that are part of number 27. So that's why they kind of work hand in hand, but we got to kind of resolve the underlying permit issue in order to get to the BTR and COU issue.
The city want to do 27 first? Does that work for you guys?
Your magistrate, that works.
All right, so let's so for the record, I'm gonna stay consideration of case 43, and let's go to case 27.
Number
Affiliate
27,
Belial.
2417 Spruce Avenue, CE 200200091.
Inspector Tilio Belisle, City of West Palm Beach. We obtained proper service posting on site and certified mail. The property was initially cited back in February 4th of 2020, and then additionally cited when there was a reinspection on June 10th of 2020 for work being done without a permit on the interior of the business. They've since obtained their they've applied for their electrical permit, but they have not obtained a plumbing permit, a change of occupancy permit, and a commercial interior permit. I've met on several occasions at the business and discussed with the tenant as to what the City of West Palm Beach's requirements are, and gave them all the proper documentation to apply for the permits. However, they have not applied for them. The city is requesting 30 days to obtain all permits and $150 a day after.
What permits are outstanding?
Say that again. Can you repeat yourself?
What permits is the city requesting that they obtain?
The plumbing permit for the bathroom renovations, the change of occupancy, the commercial interior. The photos you're seeing, your magistrate, are of the businesses being open, advertising that they're open. I received an email from the business stating that they were not open and operating, but however, there's posts advertising that they are open for business during COVID and during this time when they stated that they were not occupying the business and they were not in business.
Okay, Mr. Arsali.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I represent the land trust, the owner of the property. And in terms of just historically, let me go back real quick. Back in January, that's when the tenant went in and requested the BTR and COU. They passed everything except for the code enforcement. When code enforcement went in, they found that there was work done without a permit, and that's where the file was referred to the building department. Since then, there have been 8 permits applied for. There's only one that's open based on the records that I see over here. There are 2 electrical permits that were issued and closed out. There was a mechanical permit that was issued. The plumbing permit was issued and closed out as well. The only one that's pending right now, and it's a major permit that covers all of the remaining issues, is the change of occupancy permit. That permit number is 20040980. With respect to that permit, there's been quite a bit of back and forth. Each time they go back and forth, there have been hundreds of comments. And so that is, my understanding is that is the only permit that's open. So again, since February when this citation was originally issued, there have been 8 permits applied for. 7 of those have been resolved. And so it's just all that's left is that certificate of occupancy permit. Obviously,
when you say resolved, do you mean that the permits have been closed out and completed?
let me see. 4 of them have been closed out. 1 was a redundancy. 5 of them were issued. So all that's left based on the city's records is that certificate, the change of occupancy permit, which is admittedly the biggest permit of them all.
Let's just hold. Let's see if we can get some agreement on that. Inspector Bull-Isle, is that your understanding of the situation or not?
You're looking at the pictures of the bathroom. Can you stop right there, Monique? The bathroom that you're looking at is used to be a shower. If you scroll up to Monique, I think you can scroll up and see there, right there. See where the toilet paper holder, according to city records, that is an old shower. There's a shower that is in this location. It has been now removed. Whether it be removed properly per plumbing code, I don't know, but it has been since poured back. They've attempted to make this a handicap accessible restroom. However, it does not meet any handicap requirements. The commercial interior permit that I'm referencing to, that is reference to the bar tops. Monique, if you could scan this, it's reference to this bathroom, and if you can scroll to the bar tops. This one, and there's, I think, 2 more. Continue. That's the top, go to the bottom. These pictures that we're viewing were pictures of the re-inspection. My initial findings were of the Kava Bar's bar top that was installed without any kind of approval as well.
So the city believes that in addition to the change of occupancy permit that Attorney Arsali is speaking about, that they also need another plumbing permit and another interior exterior building permit. Is that correct?
It's going to be a commercial interior permit. That is to include the bar tops and the renovations to the bathroom walls. And the plumbing permit is for the proper cap off and adjustments that may be necessary to the plumbing. If you can zoom in on this photo. Okay, your magistrate, this center of the screen, you will find the shower. And you see the bathroom that's in reference. There's a lavatory, a water closet, and a shower. That's the referenced bathroom.
All right, so let me see if I have this right. So the city believes they need a plumbing permit, a commercial interior permit, and to finish the ongoing change of occupancy permit. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how long do you want to give them to accomplish this?
30 days and $150 a day after.
And if I may.
Go ahead.
So on like I said, the plumbing permit is 20030394 that was issued and closed. The change of occupancy permit includes that bathroom issue and that bar top issue. They're all included within the change of occupancy. If you look at that permit, there have been hundreds of comments back and forth. They've made that all inclusive within that permit. And so the concern is, again, and let me just again step back real quick. The initial work that was done by a contractor. That's why the folks who the tenants went in for the BTR, they assumed that the permit was, that they got a permit and did the work properly. I guess they didn't. Since then, they hired a new contractor to come in and fix all the issues. So they have contractors, they have engineers working on this. If you look at the file between everything that's going on with COVID and with the building official side, there are obviously delays, and obviously you have to get a lot of people together. But everything should, the only permit that should be left is the issuance of 200400980, which hasn't been issued. The last thing I received from the contractor is that from the building department side, they said there's going to have to be at least 2 more rounds of submittals just because of the number of comments, and because it's covering so many different things that 30 days would be impossible to do. It's just, and another point I wanted to make is, in terms of, I represent the landlord, I represent the property owner. Our position is that this business is not open. This business could not have been open under the COVID guidelines. So that's our understanding. So I would like to make that clear that it's simply what we're talking about is that change of occupancy permit. And if the building official needs to look, the building inspector needs to go back and look at that permit, by all means, to the extent, and that's, like I said, should cover everything. But they've been working on this for months. Like I said, there have been hundreds of comments back and forth. It's going to take longer than 30 days to get that permit issued. Otherwise, the work is done. So it's a question of they didn't have to go back through with their engineers and everything else to make sure everything is correct. So then there's a final inspection and it's done.
What kind of time frame would you be asking for?
A minimum of 90 days, hopefully at least 120 or 150. But what they've told me is it'll take them at least to the end of the year.
Inspector Belisle, does the change of occupancy permit include some of the issues that you raised?
The change of occupancy, however, does not have anything to do with the building, the commercial interior, nor does it have anything to do with the plumbing. The plumbing permit the gentleman is referencing is for the kitchen and front bar area, which those issues were resolved and that permit is now closed. Those issues are separate from this issue here. The plumbing contractor did not want to take responsibility for this work. The day of, you're seeing the pictures here, the day of my final plumbing inspection for that plumbing contractor, I noticed that these, the bathroom renovations commenced and this bar top at the top was installed even after the stop work order was issued and the tenant was notified, letting them know that they cannot build anymore. They need to obtain permits.
Inspector Belisle, is it reasonable, if there are hundreds of comments on these on the open permit, is it reasonable to expect them to be able to accomplish that within 30 days?
Give me 1 second here. Can you repeat the question?
Yes. So Attorney Arsali has stated that there are hundreds of comments associated with the change of occupancy permit. I'm asking whether or not it's reasonable to expect them to resolve those within 30 days.
I can look at the comments right away, and I can tell you my answer to that. Give me 1 second. Your magistrate,
Go ahead, sir.
I just looked into the change of occupancy permit. No further action has been taken since September 22nd on this this permit. They have not addressed the comments. They are not moving forward. The plans examiners that have reviewed this address have comments that are pretty specific as to what needs to be addressed, but there has not been any further progress in getting any forward movement on this.
That was, excuse me, September 22nd was 2 weeks ago. There are hundreds of comments the engineers have been working on. That's my understanding. They are working on it and putting in a resubmission. What I've heard from the building on what they've told me is there's going to at least take 2 more rounds to go through those hundreds of comments. And just with everything that's going on. But if you look at it, on September 22nd, you had 302 comments on building structural. On the plumbing side, there were 312 comments. So and if you add all of them up together, that happened on September 22nd, it's almost 1,000 comments there. I just don't think it's reasonable to believe that that's even possible on either end to be able to resolve those within that time period.
Inspector Bilal?
Yes.
Are there 1,000 comments?
No, there's comments for every trade, but I just want you to be aware, your magistrate, that this has been an ongoing issue. We've rescheduled and did as much as we could possibly do to accommodate. The initial violation was issued on February 4th, and at some point we're going to have to get this resolved.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I will tell you at this point, I am satisfied that the city has a case here, and that obviously work needs to be done. I will tell you, as a matter of law, though, I cannot give them a time frame that is not reasonable. In other words, I can't expect them to do something in a certain amount of time that cannot be done. So what I've been trying to get at you from a roundabout way is, what is a reasonable time frame that a reasonable respondent could get all of these things accomplished in? And that is it's important, because of my requirement, despite whatever else has gone on before, I can't give them a deadline that they can't meet. I can't preordain that they're going to fail, if you understand.
Your Honor, I believe
Mr. Whitmer, the plan reviewer for the city of West Palm Beach.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Whitmer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Forgive me. I'm in a bad area. My name is Juan Gonzalez. I'm representing the construction company. Mr. Whitmer is the plan reviewer for this permit. I have spoken to him personally several times. He told me that, these comments keep generating, and it's going to take at least 2 to 3 revisions. Our last revision, I think, was September 22nd, if not mistaken. At this point, we will be resubmitting within the next, I think, before the end of the week. And hopefully after this submittal, there will be another string of comments, and they'll start shrinking as we go. Like I said, we are open book over here, and Mr. Whitmer has been part of the city of West Palm Beach for 20 plus years, and I do trust his judgment. So I can only say that part when it comes to the actual permit and the plans. When it comes to the work at hand, however it was done, we're here to make sure it's done correctly. We'll really go back and do whatever we have to do, but there is no work to be done on us. We are just basically here to make sure that we are in code compliance, that everything is working to a condition where it's satisfactory to the Florida Building Code and to the inspector's eye. So I'm sorry for intervening so incorrectly. I'm kind of new to the Zoom thing, and God knows I'm new to all this online submittal. If it wasn't for West Palm Beach helping us out, sometimes I don't think we'd be able to submit any plans.
All right. Does either side have anything else to add here?
The city can allow 60 days to obtain their plumbing, change of occupancy, and a commercial interior permit. But your magistrate, after that, we cannot offer any more extensions. This has gone too long, and they are occupying and in business at this location.
That's a different issue, right? The city has not cited them for, or well, maybe they have, but they haven't cited them in this case. Okay, so.
And just
that's
if
a different
I may, like I said, from and the contractor might be able to jump in. My understanding is, at a minimum, they're going to need to the end of the year, which is 90 days. Obviously, we would appreciate some, with everything going on with COVID, and if there's going to be a second wave, we would appreciate some additional leeway beyond that. But like I said, at a minimum, it doesn't seem that 60 days would be reasonable.
Let me talk to the contractor again. Is he still with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So if the work has been done, so this is largely inspections, why do you need 90 days? Why isn't the 60 days the city is proposing enough?
Well, it's really up to plan review. Plan review generates, more comments as we move forward. So that right there is an engineering and a plan reviewer question. From what I see from my side, it's just a matter of time for our engineer to get with the city and be in compliance. When it comes to work, we're, the place is tip-top shape. We just need the time to go through the review process with the city. Once the review process is done and the permit is issued, it's a matter of days before we have the city inspectors come in and inspect everything.
So why isn't 60 days enough?
Mr. Whitmer told me it would be about 2 to 3 revisions. I'm just being safe. I think 90 days will be safe. That way we can help a small business not get any fines or have any issues with the city.
Inspector Belisle, why not 90 days?
The 90 days, I don't think is going to be sufficient, because the plan review, once it is completed, they're probably going to have to resolve some issues regarding the construction of the bar tops, the bathroom in that area. It'd be held to the Florida Building Code. If we issue the 90 days, the city is going to have to request for the $150 a day after that, but we can't extend it any longer.
All right, this is what I'm gonna do. Gentlemen, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt under COVID, and I'm gonna give you the 90 days, but I'm not inclined to give you anything further from there, especially since more work doesn't need to be done. So I'll give you the 90, but that's all you're gonna get out of me. All right, in case CE 2002009, I make the following findings, fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of the listed code sections 105.1, 109.4, and FPC 107.1. Respondent has 90 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $150 per day may issue. All right, let's go to 43 while we're all still here.
Thank you.
Okay, Joe Patrick back on the line. Would you like me to retestify to that magistrate?
Yeah, I have no idea what you said.
Okay, all right. I did listen to the building case, and it was cited for operating a business without a business tax receipt and a certificate of use back in February as well. Right, just prior to the case going to hearing back in February and March, the property owner changed the LLC to avoid going to the hearing. He's very familiar with the code enforcement process, been several times. So it had to be recited. Notice for this hearing was sent via certified mail and posting on August 28th, and gave the respondent 30 days to come into compliance by obtaining a business tax receipt and certificate of use, or cease operating the business. As previously testified to, the business is operating. I've seen people inside the business myself, and it has been over the past several months. In addition to that, a fence was put up without a permit, in violation of Florida Building Code 105.1.
Patrick, let me jump in on here. So I'm going to guess the issue here is because in the previous case there are unresolved permitting issues. they were not able to obtain a business tax receipt until those are resolved. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir. That is correct. And we're asking they cease operating the business until they're able to, ensure those inspections are obtained. So we know that it's safe inside for people to be in there.
All right, okay, so I understand that. That seems reasonable. Attorney Arsali, I assume this is you as well, right?
This is, yes.
Go ahead.
Sure. Okay. Appreciate it. So back in, like Officer Patrick said, back in January, the BTR and COU were applied for, the fees were all paid, and the hold was because of these permit issues. In terms of the fence, as Officer Patrick mentioned, I did send a picture to him. I have a black and white picture here showing from yesterday, and you can see the picture. It wasn't actually put into the ground. Their understanding was, and what they've told me is they did speak to the city. This was under 36 inches, et cetera. This a decorative fence permit wasn't required, but it's in an abundance of caution. They went ahead and removed it. They don't need it. So it's gone. As of yesterday, as I showed you in the picture, and I can testify to, the fence is gone. It's not going to be put back unless they want to go through the permit process. Like I said, it was never cemented in or anything else. It was just kind of hammered in. The wood was kind of hammered into the dirt. So that's as to 105.1 and FEC 110. So I think those should be considered resolved. With respect to the certificate in use and business tax receipt, yeah, that's why we wanted to make sure that case number 27 was heard beforehand. Obviously, it's subject to the fact that it's subject to those permits being not just issued but finalized, I assume. And so that's the concern we have there, is just giving us enough time to go ahead and do that. Whether or not the business, like I said, our understanding is the business is closed. That's our position, that the business is closed and it shouldn't be open. But that's, again, I'm representing the landlord, not the tenant, so I don't know what the tenant is doing on a day-to-day basis.
Do we have anyone here on behalf of the tenant? Just out of curiosity.
Excuse me?
Is there anyone here on behalf of the tenant? Just out of,
other than the contractor was hired by the tenant, but I don't know if the tenant is present at the hearing today.
All right, Officer Petrick, what remedy is the city looking for in this case?
City's asking for compliance for 82-144 and 2238 for the BTR, the business tax receipt and certificate of use. We're asking for him to cease operating the business immediately, or a $250 a day fine be assessed. And it appears that the fence may have been removed. So just 5 days for compliance, and I just simply need to ride out there and verify that it has to close that portion out. I'm finding a fact though on the fence, because the time frame for the fence to be removed did expire. So the city would be asking just simply for a finding of fact on the fence that it was in violation, but it was removed.
If you want that finding of fact, you're going to have to address the defense they gave that it's a decorative fence that didn't need to be permitted.
Okay, I did verify with the city. I did ask Mr. Arsali to provide the name of the person that he spoke to, who said it was okay. I did not get that name. He said he would check into it and get back to me. I don't know that name. I did verify with the appropriate departments that would require a permit.
That was the representation we were provided by the tenant, and I did not get confirmation beyond that. But based on their discussion, I guess the threshold was 36 inches and not being in the ground permanently. But that I couldn't tell you for sure.
Is there any city policy on 36 inches and not being put in the ground? I don't have the code section in front of me. Officer Patrick, do you know?
No, sir, not that I'm aware of.
All right. Attorney Asali, if it is your position that they're not operating the business, then I assume you'd have no objection to me to order them to cease and desist operation.
The problem is the fine is going to be imposed against my client and not them. So we'd want to have the opportunity to find out what's going on and why the city is representing that and the tenant's representing a different thing. So we would appreciate some time of time period to, and how do we, and the other question is, how is the city going to determine that the business is not operating? What is going to be sufficient on their end to find the compliance on that? That I think is an important distinction for us.
What I can answer to that, sir, is when I drive by that property, I see people sitting at the Kava bar on a regular basis. during the afternoon. And then also there were some Facebook posts as well indicating that the business is open.
But in terms of a kind of just a threshold standard for us to be able to apply against them, because obviously we can't police them and say if they have someone outside. Obviously a Facebook post is obviously a little bit, if there's a picture of inside and they're having business at that time, that's something else. But what we would appreciate would be a 30-day period to try to just, to the extent to the extent they're not in compliance with this, we're going to have to go through the eviction process, and we're going to have to give them a 15-day notice and go through that process. So our hands are a bit tied. So obviously, if it's the city's position that this business shouldn't be open, that's going to be our position as well. But that's.
Well, this one seems relatively easy comparatively to the other case. I mean, in this particular case, if they don't have a business tax receipt, they shouldn't be open. So it's pretty clear. But I can appreciate the question of what does it constitute as open. So I'm going to issue a ruling as follows. I'm going to do it like this. In case CE 200800297, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 2232A and 82144. I find the property previously in violation of 105.1 and 110 FPC. I'm going to accept the respondent's representation that the fence has been removed. As to 2232A and 82114, I'm going to give the respondent 7 days to come into compliance. And after that, I'm going to issue a cease and desist order that to cease any further violations of those sections. I'm going to issue a fine of $250 per violation each time the city sees it. I'm going to set that if the city does find violations, I'm going to set that for a fine assessment hearing at the city's discretion, so that if the respondent wants to argue they're not open, they can argue it in front of me or whoever the magistrate is at the time. But I'm going to set the fine at $250 per instance, which is each day that the property is operating in violation of the city code. All right, we all clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's all we have for building inspection cases that aren't complied. So we'll continue on to number 94330 Community Drive, CE 20060333, appearance via Zoom.
This is
Sorry, what that number was again?
I think it's
Number 9.
Number 9.
9.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, can I get the case address again, please, sir?
4330 Community Drive.
Thank you. That would be me. I'm Carrie Glover.
Just hold on a second, Ms. Glover. I'm going to let the city present their case first, and then I'll allow you to respond.
Yes,
Officer
sir.
McFarland?
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. This property was originally cited June 29th. It failed inspection on August 13th. Notice was issued to property 4330 Community Drive for rental license violation, certificate of use, prohibited signs on city right-of-way, prohibited banner and or balloons, prohibited portable signage. Property was posted September 18th, 2020. Certified mail was sent August 14th, 2020. Certified mail was signed for August 18th, 2020. I have since been in contact with Mrs. Glover, and as of this morning, their state license has not been issued to obtain their rental license. And the signage and balloons that are in question are still in view of the public. Mrs. Glover has been in contact with the city's with the city's engineering department. They have issued a temporary time frame for these signage to remain. So taking that into consideration, city's recommending 45 days to come to compliance with all violations or $200 a day thereafter.
I'm sorry, how many days did you say, Officer McFarland?
45 days, sir.
And you were seeking $200 per day after that?
Correct.
All right, Ms. Glover, the floor is yours.
We have completed our business tax license with the city of West Palm, but we can't receive, obviously, the release of that until we receive our business and professional regulations, which was applied for, and we are just pending receipt. It's been paid for, but the last update that I had was that they were still reviewing it. And the 45-day extension is acceptable to management at TRG and the apartment community Georgian Gardens.
Okay, since we're in agreement, why don't we just go ahead and do that? In case CE 200603333, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of the listed code sections. Respondent has 45 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of up to $200 per day may issue. Thank you both.
Sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. McFarlane.
You're welcome.
Next case number 14-108 Bloomfield Drive, CE 200801444. Number 14-108 Bloomfield, Zoom appearance.
Good morning, Mr. Magistrate Alan Kipnis on behalf of the owners, Doctors Wendy and Edward Champy.
All right, hold on one sec. Let me let the city present its case and then I'll let you respond. Officer Levine.
Oh. Good morning, Officer Levine, City of West Palm Beach Code. This property is cited for failure to obtain a rental license and certificate of use. Service was obtained by certified mail, which was signed for on 8/15/2020. And it was also posted on 8/15/2020. There is an active application in the system for a license. However, in speaking with the tenant that occupies the property, he said that he has a number of his friends living with him and was not able to inspect the property at the time. The city is requesting 30 days to come into compliance or $200 a day thereafter if compliance is not achieved.
Attorney Kipnis, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Mr. Magistrate, I represent the owners of the property. There are two surgeons that live in New Jersey. They made a mistake of renting this luxury property to a developer in West Palm Beach, and we've had a significant amount of issues. I have straightened most of them out. However, this particular one, I have spoken with the tenant's lawyer, Tim Schultz, as well as the tenant. Under the lease, they are allowed to have his family, the tenant's family, a housekeeper and a cook. They keep telling us as of last night that those are the only people that are living there. I have no reason to doubt what Kevin is saying he was told, but we have been told that the only people living on that premises are those who are permitted under the lease. I don't know what else we can do. We certainly will allow access to the property to inspect to see who's there. So it's sort of a conundrum for the owner. We want to do what's right and necessary here.
So Officer Levine, explain to me again. So what the issue here is that additional people are living here? Is that what the city's concerned about?
Well, according to the information that was told to me by the tenant that occupies the unit, he said he has a number of friends living with him. He didn't say, he never said anything about a housekeeper or cook. He said friends. And that's where the issue lies.
So you believe that him having friends there is essentially renting out the property? I'm just trying to understand what the nature of the violation is.
Well, so it becomes a case of a room and house because under the code, you can't have more than two unrelated people occupying a property, renting a property.
Mr. Magistrate, this is a $15,000 a month property, a luxury property. I don't know whether this developer, his name is Brian Tuttle, is doing that. I mean, I've looked him up on Google. He's a well-known developer in Palm Beach. I just can't imagine it. And again, I don't dispute what Kevin said he was told. I can just tell you, we've done everything we can to confirm that the only people that are living there are a couple of members of the guy's family and a cook and a housekeeper. That's all I can tell you, Mr. Magistrate, and we're willing to do whatever is required to confirm to you guys that we're in compliance, or that they're in compliance.
Well, I have to say, I'm very rarely left with not sure what to do here, but I'm not sure what to do.
We're the same way.
I mean, if he does have people that are not his family, well, let me ask the code officer. If he did have, what was it, a cook and a housekeeper is allowed? If he did have a cook and a housekeeper, would that trigger the city requirement that it be a boarding house?
Well, I would have to resort to the city attorney to clarify that for us.
I think we might have to see the lease contract.
I'd be glad to send you the lease contract for sure. I read it this morning. If I knew how to do that with Zoom, I would do it. I'm challenged in this area, but the lease specifically says that the permitted tenants are Brian Tuttle, his family, a cook and housekeeper. That is specifically what it says. And again, glad to send it to you. Glad to.
You know, my inclination in this case is to table this and then bring it back in a month after we've had some investigation about who's living in there and exactly what the requirements of the code are in this particular somewhat unusual situation. I have to say this is the first lease code case I've had dealing with cooks and housekeepers. So it doesn't come up that much in these type of cases. Unless the city objects, that would be my inclination.
I'm fine with it.
No objection.
All right, so let's table this for till next month's code hearing and see if we can get a better understanding of the facts and codes.
And Mr. Magistrate, in the meantime, I'll send Kevin a copy of the lease so he can have it. I'll do that momentarily.
Any information that you can provide him so he can help resolve what the fact situation is would be very helpful.
I will do that immediately. I'll provide him with everything we have, including confirmations from the attorney for the tenant as to what I've just represented to you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next case number 2417 Division Avenue, CE 200700024. We have the owner via Zoom, and I believe we have a tenant in person.
Good morning.
What
This
number?
is Richard Green, the owner.
20, thank you.
All right, I'm going to let the code officer present the case first, and then I'll let the various parties have their say, okay?
Morning. Officer Phil Cartwright, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. The property at 417 Division Avenue was originally cited on July 2nd of 2020 for exterior paint, repair dwelling to weather-tight state on the inside of the property, repair walls on the inside of the unit, repair of windows and doors, repair and replace broken plumbing fixtures. Service was achieved by certified mail. The property was posted on July 13th of 2020, as well as City Hall. I have made contact with the landlord who has started to make some of the repairs on the outside of the unit. However, there is an issue going on between the tenant and landlord as far as the possibility of an eviction. Mr. Green, the landlord, will be able to talk to you a little bit more about that. The property is asking if the city is asking if the property come into compliance within 35 days or $100 per day thereafter.
Mr. Green?
Good morning. Yes, I am in the process of evicting the tenant currently. It's an unfortunate situation. with COVID and unemployment. However, the tenant has been in the unit for about 4 years now, and the unit has deteriorated to the point where the repairs that need to be made cannot be made with the unit occupied. And I've had this discussion with the tenant for quite some time, beginning early this year. You know, I've done the best I could, but the repairs that are needed have been the result of the tenant in the apartment. And I just can't make these repairs with the tenant there.
It's important, I think, for everyone to understand what a code enforcement magistrate is and what a code enforcement magistrate is not. This is not the civil court where evictions happen, and this is not the forum to have that dispute. The only question for me is that is whether or not the property is in violation of the city code, and if it is, how much time is necessary to bring it into compliance. I can't resolve any of the landlord-tenant issues that clearly.
That's understood, but I can't make the repairs that are needed until the unit is empty. And I'm working through the court system now to complete the eviction.
Okay, the tenant is here. Is that her at the podium?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you wanted to tell me something? Go ahead.
Yes, sir, I did. Like he said, I've been with him for 4 years. I moved into this house under
Ma'am,
my
if you could
baby.
just state your name for the record first, please.
Winitria Bush.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mrs. Bush.
Okay, I've been staying in this property for the last 4 years with my baby father, which is his godparents. The landlords is his godparents. We split up this year. That's when this man, that Mr. Green, he changed my yearly lease, because like he said, I've been with him for 4 years. He changed the yearly lease to a monthly lease because I'm a vulnerable mother with kids, and I don't want my kids on the streets, and I don't want to be homeless. So I'm paying plumbing bills. Every time he tell me I got to pay a plumbing bill, I'm paying everything I could pay. He robbing me blind. Every time I pay something, it ain't fixing or nothing. Mr. Carp, that man, the code enforcement man, he know because he had to come out. I kept calling him, telling him he not doing nothing. He told me to wait on the 26th, I believe June or something. He told me to wait on the 26th. I gave it to the 29th. I didn't wait till the 1st to say, okay, I'm not gonna pay you your rent money because he been doing this for the longest. I waited till the 29th and I said, Mr. Green, you not coming? He looked at me and told me he never remembered saying that. And I called this man, code enforcement man, and I told him, you won't believe this man looked at me and told me he don't even remember telling me he said he was gonna come. It's like a back and forth thing with him. So he to change my lease to a monthly month. He doing unlawful things to try to get me out the house. He did an eviction notice. So why'd your wife texting me, asking me for rent money? If you still doing an eviction notice, they just want money. That my house still not fixed. He just came 2 days. If I could get my phone and show you how my house is full of doo-doo and water, and it's not mine. After 8 hours of coming home from work, my house be full of doo-doo and water coming from upstairs. I tell you no lie. It's in my phone. I've been trying to send it to the code enforcement man all morning, but it's in my phone. It's on the charger over there on the podium.
Yeah, ma'am, like I was telling to Mr. Green, what I can and cannot do as a code enforcement magistrate is I can order him to bring his properties up to code. I cannot resolve the issues between you and he as landlord and tenant. That would be a different form and a different court. And the resolution about whether or not he's been appropriate as a landlord and whether or not he has the right to evict you, that's beyond the scope of my authority.
Right.
I would certainly recommend in such circumstances that you obtain legal advice about what your rights are under those circumstances. The one thing I can do is I can look at evidence and I can decide whether or not it's not in compliance with code, and I can order him to come into compliance. And in the case of Officer Cartwright, he's a code officer as well. So, he's going to report on code violations, not necessarily those of landlord tenant. Let me go back to
Mr. Magistrate, those are some of the actual videos that she sent me that you're looking at right now.
Okay.
It get worse than that. Just yesterday, he came to fix the ring under the toilet.
Officer Cartwright, you've been in the home?
The doorway of the home, yes, sir.
Yep.
This was all during COVID, right in the midst of it.
I'm trying to get my phone.
Well, let me go back to the code case because I feel as if I'm losing control of where this is going. Is there Is there a dispute as to the violation cited by the Mr. Green? Do you dispute any of the violations that the city has cited you for?
So the unit does need work because, right, and again, I cannot perform the repairs with the unit being occupied. And I've had this discussion with the tenant for many months.
So
And
do the landlord supposed to do? Place us somewhere.
Look, hold on. Okay. I promise I will let everyone say their piece that they want to say, but what I cannot have is I cannot have us talking over each other, because then I can hear nothing. Okay, so Mr. Green, go ahead. You answer my
Right.
question.
So yes, sir. The unit requires repair, but again, the magnitude of the repairs cannot be made with the unit occupied. And I've explained that to the tenant over and over again. And the tenant is currently is not a code enforcement issue. The tenant is currently 6 months behind on rent. I can't continue to put money in to a unit that's nothing's coming out, and it needs significant repairs. Yes, it needs to be repaired, but I can't repair it when it's occupied.
Mr. Green, the city has requested that you get 35 days to bring this into compliance. What is your response to that time frame?
I can't, I'm waiting for the eviction. I got an email yesterday from the court where I need to provide the certificate of mailing because the sheriff could not provide the summons in person. So once I have possession of the unit, sir, then I can go in, and it's going to take time because this comes out of my pocket. Okay, I'm not an investor. I don't have investors. So this comes out of my pocket to make these repairs. So I'm just asking for time to complete the eviction process, and then the unit will be shut down until it's ready to be inspected and rented again.
Excuse me.
All right, go ahead, ma'am.
I care less about how much time it take him to get his property together. I just need him to relocate me and my 2 kids from out of that 50 hazard house. I had to call DCF to come out here and look at that. I called the news to come out because no one won't help me. I need to get out that house. I don't care how long it take to fix. I don't care about his house no more. He could have his house and his hazard. I don't want it and my kids don't either. We just need to relocate from that place. If he can't put us up in a place so he could fix his problem that's been going on for the last 2 years, what make you think it's gonna get any better? I don't care how long it takes. I just want to be out of his place. And I told him that, and he said he'll see if he could give me back my security deposit. But it's them pictures right there. It's straight doodle. This not my stuff. This not my doodle. This not my water. This not my kid's stuff. This coming from upstairs. His son and his girlfriend stay upstairs. This coming from upstairs, and we get the wash back, the down back. So I don't care how long it takes. I just want him to get me out of his house so he could do whatever he got to do with his house. I don't care if he don't fix his house. I just want my kids out of there.
Sir, if I may.
All right,
I have checked, last statement from me, please. I have checked the plumbing. I was there last week. There is no breaks in the main line. The main line is about 20 feet. It's under concrete slab, and it runs out to the line that goes out to the alley. My house is connected on the same line. So what I found over a period of time is the things that's going in the toilet. I pulled out pieces of feminine products. I pulled out cloth wipes. These are cast iron pipes, and you have to, be careful what you put in them. So for the past 4 years, every 3 or 4 months, I've had to go over there and I had to snake out the pipes. And it's a simple snake out. 15, 20 minutes.
Every single time. You charge
All right. Okay. I promise I understand the case well enough. Ma'am, I would seriously suggest that, if you do have a dispute with your landlord, that you seek some legal advice in order to see the appropriate forums to address them with them. You may well have valid legal claims against him. I can't really speak to that. It's a little beyond the scope of my authority. I am satisfied, however, that there are serious code violations on this property. In case CE 200700464, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of each of the listed code sections. I'm going to order the respondent to bring the property into compliance within 45 days or a fine of up to $100 per day. That's my ruling, ma'am. But you're not going to get there's no way that I can give you any of the type of resolution that you're clearly seeking, not in code enforcement. But I would highly recommend that you seek some legal advice about what your appropriate remedies are. Okay. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Number 47, 730 21st Street, CE 200701008. Number 47, 730 21st Street, appearance via Zoom.
Hello. Good morning. Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement with the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on July 9th. Certified mail was received on July 13th. The property and City Hall were posted also on July 13th. Property was cited for 18162A, 2232A, 3412B, and 7434A1J. At this time, the property has complied with 7434A1J and 34102B. For the remaining violations, the city is requesting an additional 30 days or $200 per day until compliance is achieved. How do you know it's being rented? I've seen all the tenants, all the cars. It's an apartment unit. Yeah.
So the inoperable vehicle has been moved and the
inoperable vehicle was removed.
And the garbage plan has been placed out of view, I guess.
It's just a rental license and the COU that's left.
And you've observed tenants living on the property?
Yes. Yeah, I actually bumped into the property owner, I believe yesterday, with the tenants and everybody else that was there, so.
All right, and there's someone here on behalf of the respondent?
Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Sorry, ma'am, can you tell your name, can you state your name, please?
I'm here. Do you hear me?
I hear you. Can you state your name for me, please?
I am Marika Osman. I'm the property manager. Do you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I got the violation on July 13th. I went to the city and I talked to Cassandra and she told me what to do. So I fill out the application form and send it by email on July 17th. And again on July 22nd because they didn't receive it. And it says 7 to 10 business days, they will answer, but I didn't get any answer. So I talked to Selma on August 12th, and she said that they got it and they will send me how to pay. I didn't receive anything, so I went to the city again and talked to Mr. Posner because in the meantime, hello?
Go ahead.
In the meantime, I got this notice for the hearing today. And at that day, that was September 28th, I paid for the, what the city asked me, $383.10. And I talked to Cassandra to let her know that I paid. And she said that she has to do the eviction, but in the because of the to do the inspection. Sorry, but because it's the virus, they are not going in person. They are doing it on phone. So I gave the phone number to the renter, and they called and left message, but nobody called back. Listen, I'm telling what the renter told me. And on October 5th and 6th, I had the eviction. So the other apartment is empty. They left a big mess, so I have to clean up and it will be ready from Monday for inspection. Those cars, what is on the picture now is probably yesterday from the evictions, and everybody was there, and the police and everybody. But on the front of the property, I have a parking lot for 4 cars, and the renter on the apartment 4 has 2 cars. So on the street, everybody is parking, but I cannot do anything about who is parking on the street.
Well, the only thing they're pursuing apparently is the rental license. So let me go back to.
I paid for it
Hold on 1 second, man. Officer St. Hilaire, what is the status of their application for a rental license?
She applied for the rental license, but that whole process, they never received it. So it did take a while for them to get it, but she has it in place. At the time, I did tell her, have your tenants call me. No one has called me. No one contacted me. And yesterday, when I seen her, her exact words was, she demanded that I did the inspection right now, and as it's my job, and she wants me to
see the cars on the
all right. What, ma'am, one at a time. I promise I will let you say anything you want to tell me, but I can't have people talk over each other. Please continue, officer.
And, you know, we've worked with her. She's even spoken to the supervisor. We try to help her as much as we can. So what's holding her up right now is doing the final inspection. She has complied with the junk vehicles and everything else. It's getting the rental inspection and getting the license squared away, which is why we're asking to give her an additional 30 days to try and get that squared away. Plenty of time to finish all this up.
All right, ma'am. So what the city is asking me to do is to give you 30 days to come into compliance. And apparently, if I understand correctly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Officer St. Hilaire, but apparently the only thing that you have left to do is have the property inspected.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So
They
is there
can come anytime.
Yeah, just the inspection.
Is there any reason why you believe that this couldn't be done within 30 days? Ma'am?
You are asking me? No, it can be, 30 days is more than enough.
All right, so then I'd suggest, in the next day or two that you contact Officer St. Hilaire and schedule that inspection, okay?
I didn't understand the name. Who I have to contact?
Officer St. Hilaire, the one who's testifying.
Okay.
All right. In case CE 200700108, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice sufficient. On the property in violation of 18162A and 2232A, respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance, or a fine of up to $200 per day may issue. Good luck. Please get that resolved soon. Next.
Next case number 52, 230 Pilgrim Road, CE 200400040, appearance via Zoom. Number 52, 230 Pilgrim.
Good morning, Richard Pasmino, Code Enforcement, City of West Palm Beach.
Go ahead.
This property was originally cited April 9th, 2020. I met with the owner on 6/4/20, and at that time I gave the owners a 90-day extension for the hearing. So the new notice was given 6/5/20. Certified mail was sent 6/8/20, and the property was also posted on 6/8/20. When I met with the owner on 6/4/20, I gave them all the information regarding the case. The property was cited for a failure to secure building permit and required inspections for 2 sheds that were on the property, clean and sanitary conditions, garbage can placement, and obstruction of right-of-way. I've had no contact with the owners since meeting them. The 2 permits are applied for keeping the shed on the property, making sure it's up to building conditions, but it has failed review early last month. The city's recommending 30 additional days for the property to pass required inspections and required approvals for permits, or the city's asking for $100 a day. Regarding the other violations, 74-34-A-1J, garbage can placement has complied, and 78-1, obstruction of the right-of-way has complied. One of the sheds has been removed. The one they're working on, it still needs to be legal and it has to pass inspections.
I'm sorry, what about 18106A, the clean and sanitary?
When I had met with her, it was fine, but since then, the original complainant, the owner who lives behind, has complained of outside storage and trash being stored on their property at the rear of the property. So I would like to keep that just to make sure that code is kept up to standards and kept in compliance.
All right, and there's somebody here on behalf of the respondent?
Yes, can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Charlene Dickens,
Yeah, can you see me?
and you're the property owner, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, so tell me what's going on.
Well, I did meet with Richard Pismino. He did give me an extension. In the time that he gave me, I submitted the payment application and I'm nervous, sorry. And
That's okay, no need to be nervous. Just pretend you're talking to me.
Okay. I don't know where to begin. Let me start over.
Okay, okay, no worries. Let me guide you a little bit, because I'll just get you to the things that I need to know. All right, so you had 2 sheds on the property and you removed 1, is that correct?
Right. Yes.
All right, so there's 1 shed remaining, and you're currently trying to get it permitted, is that correct?
Right. And I submitted the application. I met with Rachel at the code enforcement. She told me because of the quarantine just to submit sketches. So I had sketches drawn up and submitted and paid the fine, and I never heard back from anybody. They said they were going to mail me something. They were going to contact me by email, and I never heard anything from anybody. So last week when I got a letter saying that I needed to be at this hearing, I of course then inquired and said, well, why do I have to be there? I'm still waiting on the permits. Well, anyway, long story short, Friday, when I talked to code enforcement, they said the plans were denied, and it was up to the building department to contact me and let me know what they are requesting. So yesterday,
Let me see if I can help you with that. Officer Pesmina, do we know what the issue is with the remaining?
well, excuse me, but yesterday I went down to the building department right before it closed, and he did give me the list of what they are requiring, but I still don't know what this means. Like, it looks like I need to hire an engineer and I need to have professional drawings made. Then it was.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get some clarification. Now, Officer Pesmina, do we know what the issue is?
So according to the permit process, building, structural has failed their inspection, historical, and zoning. It is required that the application and the permit is resubmitted with the corrections. Where it's at now, according to historical and zoning, it doesn't meet the setback requirements. So it might have to be moved in altogether.
Ma'am, do you have a contractor or an engineer working with you on this?
No. I did, to tell you about the trash and the debris on my back property line that I've already gotten rid of.
Okay, hold on that one for a second.
Okay.
That's an easier issue to resolve. I want to focus here on the shed. So the city, they denied your request for a permit based on both historical and I guess engineering, and then there might be some issue with whether or not it's set back far enough from your property. It sounds like you're going to need at least a professional to help you resolve some of these. Are you prepared to do that?
Yeah, I think at this point I just found that out yesterday.
All right, and the city, Officer Pismino, you're seeking 30 days. That seems a short time if she's going to need some engineering help.
This is the first I've heard from her since I met with her. I spoke with the supervisor, but I know the permit process has been kind of slow. But the historical zoning, it failed August 11th. And then
And nobody's contacted me at all, not by email, junk mail, nothing.
I can't.
My inclination is, because obviously none of this is going to be resolved here today, but my inclination is to give her 60 days. Does the city object to that?
No objection on 60.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to give you an additional 60 days to seek resolution of this, but even though that seems like a fair amount of time, that time can fly pretty quickly. So my recommendation would be to get some professional help on the shed so that you can make sure. I mean, it sounds like there's multiple issues associated with it. So
Yeah.
I would get on it relatively quickly, but I'm going to give you the 60 days to resolve it one way or the other. So in case CE 200400040, I'm going to make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 105.1 and 110.3. I'm going to give the respondent on those particular issues 60 days to bring the property into compliance, or a fine of up to $100 per day may issue. On the issue of clean and sanitary, ma'am, I'm going to give you 10 days to address that. You say I heard you say you addressed it already, but I'll give you an additional 10 days. Just try and make sure your property stays clean.
Richard already came and that's what the pictures he took.
Yeah. Okay.
So everything else on the violation was complied with except for the shed.
So on the issue of 18106A, I'm going to give you an additional 10 days just to be careful, just in case, to give you a chance to go out and look at it one more time. Make sure there's no issues. So 18106A, I'll give you 10 days to come into compliance, or a fine of up to $25 per day may issue. 7434A1J and 781, I'm going to set those aside because those are resolved. Okay.
Does he have to come back out to tell me if it's okay or not?
Yeah, just call me and I can meet you at the property within that 10 days.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck.
Thank you.
Number 58325 Murray Road, CE 200900037. Number 58325 Murray Road. Appearance via Zoom.
Richard Pazmino, Code Enforcement for City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on September 5th, 2020. Certified mail was sent September 8th, 2020 and received September 14th, 2020. In addition, the property and City Hall were posted on September 15th, 2020. And this property was cited for 18103A, 18103B, 18103J, concerning the condition of the property, exterior repairs required, and the exterior paint. 18106A, 18106B, 18106G, 74-4-C-1, 74-4-4-C-5, 94-446-2 regarding the overgrowth in the rear of the property and the landscaping issues. I have made contact with the owner of the property, Linda Cole, and since my notice, the building department has issued a stop work order, and they have their own case regarding the work regarding my case, the exterior repair required at the property. So a permit is required with the building department's stop work order and their case. The owner has applied for the permit. So now we're just waiting for approval, work to start, and to get that all finished up professionally. The owner has stated that she began work with the overgrowth and the vegetation issues. If that is complete, I would just need to reinspect. But for everything on this case, the city's recommending 60 additional days for the property to come into compliance, or the city is asking for a $100 fine thereafter.
Is someone here on behalf of the respondent?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I won't go into all of it. I've had a lot of problems with help here, but all this stuff you're looking at is done. The backyard is over 90, I would say 95% finished. There's a couple questions that I'm not sure if it's the neighbor's tree or mine, but everything else is done. If you haven't come back, you would not recognize it. It looks great. And again, I apologize. A lot of this is because this area of my house, I never go back there. It's not a backyard that's used. I trusted somebody who was doing the front lawn to do the back, and that's my fault for not taking the time to check him every time. So I apologize for that. But since all of these code violations, I jumped right on them. Believe me, I overkill. Then I've had some unfortunate situations where the first lawn guy that I brought in who was different stole money from me and didn't do the job. The person who recommended him has come and gotten a crew and cleaned out the backyard. So that, I think Richard will be happy with that. I just want to ask him 1 or 2 questions when he does come over, but okay. And then the other thing is I have somebody very talented doing the exterior stucco fixes. I did not know we needed a permit for it. And I had a very, very hard time over the past year or so when I was going to get it fixed on my own, trying to find a contractor with a license to do it. And they all can't even tell you the amount of money they asked for. It was ridiculous. And I had a nice conversation with Ken Conrad, who told me that probably the reason they're asking $26,000 and $32,000 and all these ridiculous prices is because it was too small of a job for a big company to do. And then he said, since you're a homeowner, you can apply for a permit yourself, which I am ignorant, did not know that. So that's what happened here. And that's why I got a stop work order. And I have applied for, last Monday was when they received my application for a permit for the stucco work. And I'm waiting for that. I check it twice a day, but nothing's happened on it.
Ma'am, the city wants to give you 60 days to bring this into compliance. Does that seem like a sufficient amount of time for you?
Does that sound like, I guess, I mean, we would have had the stucco completely finished in the time that Richard gave me in the beginning, had we not had a stop work order. So it sounds like as long as I get this permit soon, I'll be able to do it. I just don't know how long it takes with COVID and all that. If it's longer than usual.
Officer Pasmino, is there any reason to believe that this permit is not going to be issued relatively soon?
I just looked right now. It looks like the building just accepted the incoming for plan review, so they should be reviewing it soon.
Okay, so
within 60 days.
If I get it in enough time based on how fast and we started doing this, I don't see why 60 days wouldn't be fine.
Yeah, no, the owner definitely started on everything as soon as she got notice.
I've been a really type A personality with Richard. I just have never had anything like this happen. And it's obviously my fault because I'm so busy with my own work. I just haven't stayed on top of it. Plus the fact that the estimates that I got were so outrageous for the stucco that I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I feel your pain. I'm a homeowner too. I'm gonna give you the 60 days. If there are delays that are outside your control, you need to reach out to the code officer and let him know immediately. And he might have to come back and ask me for an extension, or at least you might have to come back together. But I don't see why it shouldn't be able to get done within 60 days. So that's the time frame I'm going to give it. All right, in case CE 200900037, I'm going to make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of the listed code sections, to give the respondent 60 days to bring the property in compliance, or a fine of up to, did you ask for a fine amount, Officer Pesmino?
100 a day.
Yeah, a fine of up to $100 per day. All right, good luck, ma'am.
That's if we don't have it.
You don't need the 60 days, right?
Okay,
All
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, that's all we have for people who signed in. Is there anyone else here for a case?
Yes. My name is Christopher Lincoln. I'm here for a case.
What's the property address?
3216 Australian Court. Natalie Clark is the inspector.
Magistrate, this is Rich, code supervisor. I'm showing that case is closed.
Oh, really?
Natalie, I see you're on now. Is that correct?
What number is it?
It's possibly not on the agenda because it's closed.
Okay, so I'm good?
Yes,
Hold on, let's make sure that it's closed before we send it out.
yeah, that 3216 Australian is in compliance.
All
The
right,
case
you
shows
win.
to have been closed on October 5th before the agenda was printed.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Lincoln, you're a winner. You're
All right,
done.
thanks a lot. All right, have a good one.
You too.
You too. Anyone else?
No, because they kept saying 3216 Australian.
Okay. Case number 4 is complied, 46th Street, 20080042. Case number 5, 3801 Westview Avenue, CE 200902222.
Natalie Clark, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement, 3801 Westview Avenue, was cited on 9/16/20. The property was posted on 9/17/20 and certified mail was sent on 9/17/20. The property was cited for 18-162A, 22-32A, and 94-487-B1. The property has since complied with 94-487B1. 18-162A and 2232A are still in violation. I've had contact with the owner and the tenant. The city is asking for an additional 30 days or $200 per day until compliance is achieved.
You've been to the property and you've seen the tenant? Or talked to the tenant at least?
Yes, I've spoken to the tenant on the phone and I've also spoken to the landlord on the phone.
And why did the landlord tell you why they don't have a rental permit?
It's a new owner, so I actually did email the application to him. It hasn't been submitted, so I'm not sure exactly why it hasn't been submitted, but I did email it to the owner in July.
So
And I have a copy of the email in the case.
So you sent them the application 3 months ago?
Correct,
And as far as you know, they have not filed one?
correct,
You were seeking 30 days and $200 a day after?
correct.
All right, in case CE 200902222, I make the following findings, fact, and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18162A, 2232A. Respondent has 30 days to come into compliance or fine of $200 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Number 6 is complied, 941 Ameria Road, CE 200800340. Number 8 is continued, 1440 Wilderness Road, CE 200200145. Number 10, 4101 San Marino Boulevard, number 203, CE 200900087.
Come on. Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On September 9th, 2020, the property at 4101 San Marino Boulevard, Unit 203, was cited for rental license violation, certificate of use, and repeat violation. Original order was issued September 19th, 2018. The property was posted September 21st. Certified mail was sent September 9th, 2020. Certified mail was returned September 16th. I have since been in contact with the tenant, but I have not heard from the owner. With that being said, they did have a license back in September 2019, but that license has since expired. And they were cited previously for the same type of violation. So taking that into consideration, city's recommending a $300 day fine to start from the expired license date and to run until compliance is achieved.
Have you had contact with his owner before?
No, sir, I have not made contact with the owner, but I have made contact with the tenant.
How did you become aware of this? Was this just that the license wasn't renewed?
Yes, the license was renewed and the tenant made contact with me, and that what made me investigate further. And I did notice that Mr. Levine had issued a notice that was not complied with. And I did submit that original order as well, and that should suffice for the repeat violation. And that's why the city's recommending what they're recommending.
When did the license expire?
September 30th, 2019.
So we're talking about basically a year.
Yes, sir. And the unit is currently occupied. So he has been continuously running the unit without a license, and he's done it in the past, so.
Well, I will grant you that that probably requires a bit stiffer of a penalty, but that's a pretty substantial penalty. Like $300 a day for a year. I didn't do the math in my head, but that's a really large sum. What I'm asking you in an indirect way is you got to give me bigger reason to give that kind of fine. I mean, that is a health safety kind of fine. I mean, that is a huge.
The reason is because that the property is currently occupied. It's been occupied before without license. He's done this repeatedly. He's not addressing certain things with the unit as far as the tenant is concerned. And this is why I'm seeking this type of fine. The city's seeking this type of fine.
I mean, by my math, we're talking about over $100,000 in fines. Is that your math?
Correct. I wouldn't seek such a stiff penalty if it wasn't a repeat violation, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate I appreciate the need to get a license, and I also appreciate somebody that should have notice and understanding that they need a license and their failure to get one. That's still a bit steep for me, though. This is what I'll do in case CE 2009-0087. I'll make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18162A and 2232A. I also I agree and find the city is correct that this is a repeat violation under section 2635B. I hereby assess a fine in the amount of $100 a day beginning from when the violation occurred, which is September 30th, 2019, and continuing until the property comes into compliance.
That'll do, sir.
Number 11, 805 25th Street, CE 200800253. What number?
11.
11. Oh, sorry, that's me. Ray Young, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance. 805 25th Street was originally cited on 8/24 of 20 with a notice of violation posted at the property in City Hall on 8/26 of 20. Certified mail was sent out on 8/25 of 20. 805 25th Street was originally cited for 18103J, 18106A, 18106B, 18215B, and 94302A4. I have made contact with the owner who requested more time to come into compliance with all violations. Special magistrate, the city requests a split order on this case for code sections 18103J, the exterior paint, and 94302A4, the fence repair. The city requests an additional 90 days to come into compliance or $150 per day until compliance is achieved. Sections 18106B, the excessive growth, 18106A, the trash and debris, and 18215B, failure to comply. These code sections does pose a potential threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the community by being a possible haven for rats, vermin, pests, etc. Therefore, the city requests just additional 10 days to come into compliance or abatement.
So as to the exterior paint and the fence, you want to give them 90 days? And what
Yeah,
time-
just because the scope of the work and the cost of the fence, it's gonna be an expensive project. 90 days, we came up to that agreement that's a reasonable time.
And what fine were you seeking?
You know what, for that, $150 a day, special magistrate.
All right, so let's talk about the clean and sanitary excessive growth. So tell me specifically what it is that you believe about the conditions of this property that constitute a threat to the health, safety, and welfare.
Well, the neighboring businesses did complain that they saw like evidence of rats or something it's obviously when it gets later in the area, it seems like it's a haven, like right in that photo right there, closer to 25th Street, that it is something is, it's a haven for some type of pests that's there. So that's why we were seeking 10 days to get it into compliance, which he agreed to. He said he would probably be able to cut it this weekend or abatement.
Just so I can make the appropriate finding, you believe that the overgrowth constitutes habitat for potential vermin and disease-carrying vermin?
Yes, special magistrate.
And the trash and debris is an attractive nuisance attracting that vermin?
Correct.
Thank you, sir. All right, in case CE 200800253, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18103J and 94302A4. As to those violations, I order the respondent to come into compliance within 90 days or a fine of $150 per day shall issue. I further find the respondent in violation of 18106A, 18106B, and 18215B. Make further finding that those violations constitute a threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the city of West Palm Beach. I order the respondent to bring those into compliance within 10 days. If it is not brought into compliance within 10 days, I hereby authorize the city of West Palm Beach to enter the property and abate any and all of those violations. I hereby assess the cost of said abatement against the property and property owner.
Thank you.
Next case number 12933 29th Street, CE 200900007.
Ray Leon City, West Palm Beach Code Compliance. 933 29th Street was originally cited on 9/1 of 20 with the notice of violation posted at the property in City Hall on 9/3 of 20. Certified mail was sent on September 2nd, 9/2 of 20. Special Magistrate 933 29th Street was originally cited for 1051 permit required for the fence and Florida Building Code 110.3. The inspection is required. I have made contact with the owner, Mr. Wood, who did request more time to comply all violations. Special Magistrate, the city requests additional 30 days to come into compliance or $100 per day until compliance is achieved.
He just has to obtain a permit.
Correct. And he's pulled many permits for his property before. Just the fence is the only one that's outstanding.
All right, clearly seeing that's clearly a new fence.
Yes, sir.
All right, in case CE 200900007, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient on the property in violation of 105.1 and FBC 110.3. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day nation.
Thank you.
Number 13 is complied, 700 Colonial Road, CE 200704442. Number 15, 779 N Street, CE 200800275.
Good morning once again, Officer Levine, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property was cited for failure to obtain a rental license and certificate of use. Service was accomplished by certified mail, which was signed for on August 28, 2020. I've had, on this particular property, I've had no contact with the property owner. And there isn't an active application in the system for a rental license. So the city is requesting 30 days to come into compliance or $200 a day thereafter.
Officer Levine, you said you had contact with the tenants on this property?
No, I said I've had no contact with the owner for this particular property.
So how do we know that there are tenants then?
There's a couple reasons. When I cited this property, I also cited another one that he has in the city of West Palm Beach, which is 6213 Garden Avenue. I did get correspondence back from him stating that he was not renting the property. However, I didn't receive any correspondence for this particular property. There's another unit on Olive Avenue that he has a license for. And actually he has 4 properties in the city of West Palm Beach. His mailing and living address is at 700 Colonial Drive. And the fact that there's decorations at the property, it shows that someone's living there too.
I think I'm gonna need more than that.
So, well, I cited two properties at the same time, the very said day. He sent me back correspondence for one property. He didn't send me back any for this stating that he was not renting this property. He said he wasn't renting the other property. They were both cited on the very said same day.
I mean, you might well, in fact, I suspect you probably are right that there are people there. But the absence of his response is not an admission. You're gonna need some kind of evidence beyond that there's a decoration on the door, because who knows who could have done that. I'm gonna need more.
The ball's in your court, sir.
All right, I'm gonna table this one, and I'll let you bring it back, but you're gonna have to get some kind of evidence that there's somebody actually living there.
Number 16, 17, 15, 37th Street, CE 200602990.
Does he know we can't hear him?
I don't think he does. Officer Williams.
He's not muted.
Officer Williams, we can't hear you. Erica, why don't we come back and see if we can resolve Officer Williams.
Okay.
Audio file.
Number 19, 1361 7th Street, CE 2006020. Number 19, 1361 7th Street.
That's been complied, Erica.
Comply?
Yes.
Number 21, 717 North Cameron Avenue, CE 200803114.
Officer Phil Cartwright, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Property at 717 North Cameron Avenue was originally started on August 27th of 2020 for roof and fascia repair, structure needing paint, clean and sanitary conditions, excessive overgrowth, landscape maintenance, cleanup property of city right-of-way, off-street parking requirements, and failure to comply. Service was achieved by certified mail. The property was posted on August 27th of 2020, as well as City Hall. There has been no contact by the owner. All of violations are still current. The city is asking that the property come into compliance within 45 days. I'm sorry, the city is asking that the property come into compliance 5 days abatement on the following violations. magistrate. On 18103B, 18105J, and 94485A, the city is asking that the property come into compliance within 45 days on those violations. All other violations, the city is asking for 5 days or abatement.
All right, let's walk through this together a little bit here so I can understand what's going on here. So 18103B, what is that about?
That's the roof repair and the fascia repair.
Okay, and that's in that's this repair is allowing weather in. Is that what you're telling?
That is correct.
Okay, then the paint, I think I can see that you're saying the building needs to be painted, right?
Correct.
Okay, I can see that the clean and sanitary, so there's trash and debris along the property that I can see. Where's the excessive growth? Oh, that's
right
it.
there.
Okay. All right, landscape and maintenance, I see that. Hurricane hazard, I see that.
That's the driveway requirements. Needs to be repaved and restriped.
Okay. And okay, so the parking, okay, I can see that. So the ones that you're seeking to give 45 days for, I assume that's 18103B
That is correct.
and 18105J, the paint, right?
That is correct.
And what was the other one you wanted to give them, the center row, I assume? No, the parking requirements, right? 9443. All right.
That is correct.
Okay, so let's talk about the excessive growth in clean and sanitary, the ones that you're seeking abatement for.
That is correct.
So your concern is what's the health safety concern about these?
There's a dumpster not too far from there. There's been raccoons and vermin that run around in that area. One of the neighbors across the street did mention something about that they thought that the ficus tree butted up against the property is where they saw raccoons and rats running up into that tree. So we'd like to get that area cleaned up and cut it down.
I believe that area is based on what you saw and what testimony you heard, you believe that area constitutes habitat for disease spreading vermin?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, in case CE 200800314, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of the code sections as listed. I find the property in violation of 18103B, 18105J, and 94482A. I ordered the respondent to bring those sections into compliance within 45 days. Did you give me a fine amount, Officer Cartwright?
$100 per day.
Or a fine of up to $100 per day may issue. As to the remaining code sections, 106A, 18106A, 18106B, 18106K, 744C1, and 744C5. I find the property in violation. I find the violation constitutes a threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the city of West Palm Beach. I order the respondent to bring those into compliance within 5 days. In the absence of compliance, I hereby authorize the city to enter the property and abate any and all of those violations. I hereby assess the cost of said abatement against the property and property owner.
Thank you, sir.
Number 22 is complied, 807th Street, CE 200900094. Back to Marcus's case, number 16, 17, 15, 37th Street, CE 200600290, number 16, 17, 15, 37th.
Okay, can you all hear me now?
We can. Welcome back.
All right, awesome. All right, so this property was originally cited on September 15th, 2020. The certified mail was sent out September 16th, 2020, and property hall as well as city hall, as well as city hall was posted September 24th, 2020. To date, I've had no contact with the owner. As a matter of fact, every time I've gone to the property, I've spoken to someone different. And each time, everyone has told me the property owner is not home and can't be contacted. The property was originally cited for 18106-A, 34-102-C, 74-34-A-1-J, 94-482-A, 94-485-A, and 94-71-C. To date, all of the violations are still present. I, again, have no contact with the owner. I'm simply seeking a finding of fact on this one, just because I've gone out to the property on many occasions, and one day they're there, the next day they stop, the next day I come back, they're back at it again.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have anything to ask you. In case CE 200600290, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of code sections 18106A, 34102C, 7434A1J, 94482A, 9445A, 9471C. I issue no fine at this time, but I order the respondent to cease and desist from any further violations of these code sections.
Number 17, 1820 North Congress Ave, 209, CE 200800140.
Marcus Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property was cited on August 12th, 2020. Certified mail was sent the same day, and it was received August 14th, 2020. The property as well as City Hall was posted in September 24th, 2020. I've had no contact with the owner. I have spoken with the tenant. They were originally cited for 18-103-C, 18-162-A, and 22-32-A. To date, the only violation that stands is 18-103-C, which the tenant has advised me that she's had no contact with the owner. She's called and left him several voicemails. He's made no attempts to repair the shower fixtures there, the plumbing issues that are present. And she did advise me that this has been going on for a number of years. So the city is asking for 30 days to bring this into compliance, or a $500 a day fine be assessed.
So you did obtain a rental license?
He did.
How did it pass the inspection?
He simply applied for it. I looked in the system this morning. I don't think it's been granted as of yet. But like I said, I haven't spoken with him. He hasn't reached out to me, or she hasn't reached out to me. The tenant has reached out numerous times. As of yesterday, she said she's called him every day for the last couple of weeks, and with no response.
So tell me what's the problem in the bathroom?
So there seems to be a leak in the bathroom there, as you can see it there in the video that the tenant sent in. And she says that it comes and goes, and the water just continuously drips there. And she said she's currently has a company scheduled to come out because now she thinks that there's mold and mildew that's accumulated. So I'm waiting to hear that, back from her on that. But she's lived in the unit, I believe she said, about 4 years, and it's just an ongoing issue.
So you're looking for 30 days, and how much of a fine?
30 days or a $500 a day fine.
All right, in case CE 2008014, make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient upon the property violation 103C, I give the respondent 30 days to come to compliance or fine the amount of $500 per day.
Number 18225 Lakin Drive, CE 200900185.
Marcus Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property was originally cited on September 15, 2020. The certified mail was sent out September 16, 2020. That was received September 18, 2020. The property, as well as City Hall, was posted September 24, 2020. I have had contact with the owner. Me and him have spoken on numerous occasions. He was originally cited for 18-103-B, 74-34-A-1-J, 94-42-A, and 94-71-C. To date, the only violation that remains is 18-103-B. He does have someone coming out to fix the leak in the roof there. Because he works full time, he is asking for a little bit of time on that. So the city is seeking 90 days to come into compliance, or $100 a day fine thereafter.
What's wrong with the roof?
He says there's a small crack in the roof where it's leaking. That's why he put the tarp over it. He found someone to do the work for a price that he could afford. That contractor is a little backed up on work right now, so it will take him a couple of weeks to get out there. That's why the city is asking for 90 days to give him enough time.
All right, in case CE 200900185, make the following findings that notice is good and sufficient upon the property in violation of 18103B. I responded 90 days to bring the property into compliance. I'm sorry, what fine were you thinking?
90 days or $100 a day fine?
90 days or a fine of $100 per day, maybe. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Special Magistrate, is it okay to call the lead reduction hearings to start with them?
If
You
they're
wanna
here.
address them?
Yep.
Did you want to swear them in?
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
I did.
Yeah, if you are
One's
newly
in
arrived.
person, one's in Zoom. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, if you are newly arrived and have not already been sworn in or are going to testify, would you please rise and raise your right hand?
We can't see anything, but you can't see us, but we're raising our right hands.
Okay, excellent. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate, independently of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida?
Yes, sir.
Okay, number one, other matters, 1110 North Sapadilla Avenue, CE 08080718.
We're actually the property at 136 South Robbins Drive in West Palm Beach, Florida. They
We
said we had an
responded for
11.
Sapadillas in Chambers.
Okay.
No, we were reduction. They're in there. Oh, okay. Yeah, we just called it. They're in Chambers and someone's getting
Have
over
it-
the assist. I see them in front of the podium there. Yeah.
Should we go to number two first, or?
Are they ready?
I would suggest going to
130.
the other one first because we still have someone getting over there to activate their microphone.
I don't think number 2's ready. You can go ahead and go to number 1.
No, number two is ready. Number two, 136 South Robbins Drive, CE 15040217, 136 South Robbins Drive.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, Your Honor, if you just give me a brief moment, I wrote down everything. I didn't want to forget anything. If you allow us.
Yeah.
Thank you kindly for allowing us the opportunity to present our case for a relative,
Sir?
Ralda Vernon. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, actually, normally the city goes first, and before
Okay.
you go, we would have to have you put your name on the record and how you're related to the property.
Okay, so I'm here with my mom. My name is Sedley Daly. I'm the grandnephew of the owner, Ralda Vernon, and my mom is here, Valerie Peck. That's her aunt.
Okay, and Mr. Posner, did you wish to put your side on first as normal? Mr. Daly, normally the
ma'am.
city goes first.
If the
Okay,
magistrate,
I
wants to
apologize.
proceed.
Go ahead.
Mitch Posner, Code Enforcement, West Palm Beach. Case ending in 217, 136 South Robbins. Date ordered 6/3 of 15. Fine started 7/4 of 15. Ran for 1,903 days. Total fine $190,300, $100 a day. Date of compliance 9/18 of 20. Same owner. Property's been owned since 11 of 2003. Cited a total of 12 times under this ownership. At the time we received the application, the case still was not complied. The application states they purchased this as a investment property and apparently rented it straight through from 2003 with no rental license whatsoever. That wasn't put in until this process. The fine ran for unpaved parking and bare landscape. It was checked a number of times over the last year, and we weren't able to comply it until this lien reduction process. Normally, the standard ask on this would have been 30% based on the size of it. The city is asking for 10%. And I believe the magistrate already has the PAPA sheet.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
That's me, Your Honor. Sedley? Okay. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to present our case for my relative. She's never lived in Florida. She resides in New York. A few years ago, like Mr. Posner said, she decided to buy this property, but during the sales process, she was never properly serviced. As a result, the mailing address for the property was filed with the city and not her residence address. It was by coincidence that we found out about a lien on the property and had to hire someone to help us to get to this point. She's elderly, disabled, and at 85 years old, she's very resistant and refuses assistance, which is very stressful for us that caring for her from a distance. In addition, the tenants who have lived there since the inception of the lien are elderly as well, and according to them, they never received, don't remember receiving anything from the city, which they never passed it on to us since we weren't getting the mail. We respectfully ask that you consider her extenuating circumstances, which would mean her medical situation and her limited income, in reducing this to something that she can afford.
Well, what are you asking me for, sir?
I don't know. I just know that she has limited income, and we're just trying to help her out from a distance here.
You have to ask me for something.
I really don't know what to say at this point. I mean, anything limited would be very,
Well, the city offered to reduce it by 90%.
that's still a lot for her at this age and her income.
You gotta ask me for something.
If it pleases the magistrate, the application they turned in requested that they pay $0.
Yeah, okay, so you still have to ask me for something that I might give you.
$500?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
So the city is offered to reduce it, what is it, with the current fine is what, 190, Officer Posner?
$190,300.
All right, so you've offered to reduce it to 19,300?
19,030.
Are you saying my math isn't good right now? It's possible.
It was a little off, sir.
A little bit. Mr. Gailey, what I'm willing to do is I'm willing to cut that in half, and I'll reduce that from. So I'll reduce it to basically what is 5%.
5%.
I show that as 95.15, sir.
I'm glad you did the math, because clearly I'm not doing it well today. All right, I'll reduce it to 95.515, and I'll give you 60 days.
60 days. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, and everyone involved, Mr. Posner, Miss Arlene, Miss Erica.
Thank you, Mr. Daly.
God bless you all.
Back to number 1110 North Sapadilla Avenue, CE 08080718.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
City's gonna go first, okay.
Do we know if she was sworn in as well?
Yes, she was.
Okay. Case ending in 718, 1110 North Sapadilla Avenue, date ordered 11/5 of '08. Fine started 12/8 of '08, ran for 1,970 days. Total is $98,500. Fine was $50 a day, date of compliance 5/1 of 14. Magistrate, this is a new owner. They're mitigating circumstances, they didn't know about the case. We were able to use backdated pictures that we were able to find for a date of compliance to knock that down to the 98,500 using 5/1 of 14 was the date of those pictures. They have had absolutely 0 cases since they've taken over, since they bought the property. Given the lack of case history, the age of the lien and the fact that they didn't cause it and the size of the lien, the city's only asking for 5%.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to let you know that we did not.
Ma'am,
Sorry.
before you go forward, could you put your name on the record and how you're related to the property?
Yes, my name is Anne Marie King. I'm the owner. My husband owns the property. And what I was saying is that we only knew about it when my husband was diagnosed in June for prostate cancer. And we put the property up for sale because we needed the money. Then the title office let us know that we owe up all this money, which we didn't know about. Sorry. So the title office says we can't close because you guys owe up all this money. And I said, no, we don't owe anything. When we bought the property, we were told that all we needed to do was to pay the outstanding utility bills. And we had structural permit, electrical permit, and plumbing permit that needed to finalize, which we did, right? So when I came to the city to pay the utility bills, and they gave us the printout, the title office gave us the printout as to what we needed to pay. When I came to the city, they said, oh no, you guys need to pay more. That information that they gave you is incorrect. They did not do their proper research. So we end up paying $700 more in addition to what the title search found out that we needed to pay. So I wrote a letter to the title search, and I have it here, and they gave us back the $700 because they were incorrect. They didn't explain anything to us, and you know, we were very inexperienced, so we didn't know what we were doing. We bought the property for investment. When we bought the property, there was a lot of stuff. There was garbage in that house. The holes were all over. It was a foreclosure. There were holes all over. The roof was leaking. The cabinets were broken. The window panes were broken. The trees were overgrown. The lawn was in a mess. We had to do all of that, and it cost us a lot of money. In addition to that, there were termites, there were moles. You know, it did cost us a lot of money to even rent that place. And even the neighbors, when they came by, they were saying, wow, you guys really did a good job to the place. So if we had known that we had owed all this money, we wouldn't have bought the property, you know, but now we're hit with all this, and it was just, it's unfair to us, you know. So I'm asking you guys to see, you know, what you can do for us, because we didn't know, and we kept the property in good state. Thank you.
The city has offered to reduce your fine to 5% with, I'm going to do math here again, Mitch, so this might be a problem, but I'm getting 4,900.
49.25, sir.
I was close.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, what are you asking me for?
Well, right now, I'm not working. My husband is going to do a surgery next week on the 21st. And all I have in the account is $2,500 right now. And I could write you guys a check and just put it behind us.
Tell you what I'll do, ma'am. Considering that you rehabilitated a property in the city and you've taken good care of it, I'll reduce it to $1,500 payable within 60 days.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and good luck. And good luck to your husband as well.
Thank you so much. Do I get something to give to the title office to say that is what it is today? Because we need to... Sorry?
If you want to provide your email, I can email it to you.
Thank you so much. It's my name, Anne Marie, ANNMARIE, EBANKS @comcast.net.
Okay, I can email it to you later today.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Posner. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Good luck.
Magistrate, I apologize for the record-setting number of lien reductions. That was the last one.
Well done. Eric, I think that means we go back to the 20s again, right?
Yeah, it's number 23, 6000 Pinewood Avenue, CE 200602110.
Is that Officer Watkins? I see him here. He's here.
He's muted. He's coming on.
There you are. Welcome back.
How you doing? This is for Officer Watkins, City of West. Huh?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
Officer Watkins, City of West Beach Code Compliance, property of 6000 Pinewood Avenue. This property was cited on June 18th. Certified mail was received August 3rd. This property was cited for 18-106A, 18-106N, 74-34A-1SJ, 94-302-A-4, 94-71C. No violations have complied of as of yet. I've had correspondence with the homeowner. City requesting additional 20 days or $100 per day after.
Is somebody living in that house, Officer Watkins?
Yes. And that's the condition it's usually left in.
You don't think this property is, well, you know what, I'm not even gonna ask. You're asking for 20 days and how much?
Or $100 per day after.
I just asked you know, for the neighbor's sake, you keep an eye on this property.
Yeah, I go by there often, and I've had last correspondence last week with the homeowner, and he advised me of the fence permit that he was going to get, and speaking to his tenants more on keeping the property up. So I gave him 20 days to show that it can be kept up and the garbage can also be stored where it's supposed to be, versus giving them 5 days. He does it and complying them, but get more or less given days to see that it's being done continuously.
That seems like a fair approach. All right, in case CE 200600210, I make the following findings of fact and law. I notice it's sufficient to find the property in violation of 18106A, 18106M, 7434A1J, 94302A4, and 9471C. Respondent has 20 days to bring the property in compliance for a fine of $100 per day. May
Number 24, 704 54th Street, CE 200700464.
City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited on July 31st. Certified mail was sent July 31st. Certified mail was received on August the 3rd. This property was cited for 105-1, 18-100, 18-103E, 18-106A, 18-106B, 18-106G, 18-162A, 22-32-A-1, 74-34-A-1-J, 74-4B-1, 78-94C, 94-302A-4, 94-442C-1, 94-42A, and 94-71C.
How do you know it's being rented?
I spoke with the I guess there were tenants in the rear, and they told me that they pay rent to the gentleman up front. So the 2 back units or someone's living there.
Thank you.
And compliant violations with 18-106B, 74-4-B-1. Remaining violations are 18-100, 105-1, 18-103E, 18-106A, 18-106G, 18-162A, 22-32A, 74-34A-1-J, 78-94C, 94-302A-4, 94-442C-1, and 94-482A, and 94-71C. City's requesting 30 days or $100 per day after.
Do they cleaned up the excessive growth? What was the other one complying
Yeah,
with?
they cut the grass, and they what was it? Grass. Oh, they picked up the right in the very front by the on the west side of the car. They picked up the refrigerator that was out there.
Oh. So so the ones in compliance are 18106A and 18106B?
Yes.
Yeah. Or is it did they remove the appliance door? 74?
No, they removed the whole refrigerator, the one that's there sitting right outside. That refrigerator's been moved.
So 74-4B1 is not an issue anymore.
Say again?
74-4B1, the appliance doors, that's not an issue anymore?
No, that's not an issue anymore. That and 18-106B.
All right, but clean and sanitary is still an issue. There's still traffic debris on the property. All right, let me just look through here real quick. So what's the egress issue? They're blocking the windows.
Yeah, their shutters down on the rear and the front of the home. The rear units in the rear, the shutters are down on the rear, top and bottom, and on the west side of the home and the east side. You see in the pictures there.
Yeah, I see it. I saw that. I guess 18103E is the broken windows that I saw.
Yeah, there was broken windows as well.
Yeah. All right, trash and debris I saw. Overgrowth I saw. Paint I saw. You already testified that there are tenants staying on the property.
Yes.
I didn't see the garbage can. Is that just out front?
Yeah, they're out front. When the image comes up showing the units in the rear and the front, they're just behind the Jeep that was in the yard, and there was some closest to the front door in those images.
All right. What's the swale and part? There's no grass in the swale? Is that it?
Yeah, there's no.
All right. The fence, is that chain fence in the front of the property?
Yeah, the garbage cans are right there, and the chain link fence is on the east side, and towards the rear of the property, it's chain and wood slated.
Is it falling? Is that it?
Yes, it's leaning over into the neighboring property. He was going to repair it, but it wasn't his when we actually looked it up. It belonged to them.
And I guess there's cars are parking on the not on the side, I guess, or the
Yeah, they're
dirt.
parking in the grass on the swell at times, but majority in the front yard.
And you want to give them 30 days?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, you said 30 days?
Yes.
Okay. All right, in case CE 2007046 make the following findings of fact and life on notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of all the listed code sections except for 18106B and 974-4B1. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property into compliance or a fine of $100 per day makes.
Number 255609 Pinewood Ave, CE 200802551.
City of West Beach Code Compliance Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited on August the 24th. Certified mail was sent and received on August the 25th. The property, City Hall was posted on August the 27th. This property was cited for 18-106M, 18-162A, 22-32A, 94-442-C-1, and 94-42A. No violations have complied of as of yet. I've had no correspondence with the homeowner. Cities are requesting 20 days or $100 per day after.
How do you know it's being rented?
Yes, ma'am. The young teenager there, she translated for her mother and let me know that they haven't seen the landlord to replace the grass because I inquired about them parking in the lawn as well.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. So you spoke with the tenants. I can clearly see the landscaping is an issue. And I can see a car parking on the grass. All right. All right, in case CE 200802551, I make the following findings of fact and law. I notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106M, 18162A, 2232A, 94442C1, and 9442A. Respondent has 20 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $100 per day made.
Number 26630 55th Street, CE 2008035.
Robert Watkins, City of West Beach Code Compliance. This property was cited on August the 28th. Certified mail was sent August the 31st. Certified mail was received September the 3rd. This property was cited for 18-106B, 94-42A, 94-71C. No violations as of yet have been complied. I have been in email correspondence with the homeowner. City's requesting an additional 15 days or $100 per day after.
So on this one, can I see the excessive growth? We have a photo of that.
Yeah, it should be when they show the pictures on the east side of the property.
Looks like we need to mow their lawn, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. That is definitely excessive growth. Okay, I saw the cars parking on the grass. What's the outdoor storage?
That should be coming up.
Would that be in there?
There's some there, and there should be some more images coming up with them.
Okay. All right, in case CE 2008035 make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice it's sufficient on the property violation of 18106B, 9442A, 9471C, respondent has 20 days to bring property compliance with fine of $100 per day. Thank you, sir.
Number 28 is complied, 842 Park Place, CE 200300361. Number 32, 296 Valet Way, CE 200700130.
Alan Williams, Code Enforcement, 296 Valet Way was cited for 94485-G, which is traffic control device, which is the curve need to be replaced on that property. I actually cited the property July 10th, 2020. Certified mail sent and received September 2nd, 2020. Also posted the property September the 17th. No contact with the owners of the property. So I'm asking 30 days to comply that or $100 a day after that.
So Well, she's finding the picture. Tell me what's the traffic curve? Can you explain
Yeah,
that?
there used to be a driveway right there on that photo, but they closed that off and now they need to replace the curve.
Hmm.
The curving was missing right there. Pedestrians complaining about that.
So that used to be a driveway.
Yes, into the property.
Hmm. And you had no contact with the owner?
No,
You want to give them 30 days or $100? I mean, presumably they're going to have to get a permit to do that, right?
yes, they will, yes. But we're talking since July on this case. They haven't decided to do anything.
All right.
They
All right.
received certified mail.
All right, in case CE 2007031, to make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 9445G, or the respondent to come into compliance within 30 days or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 33, 1812 South Olive Avenue 1, CE 200700131.
Don Williams, Code Enforcement. This property, 1812 South Olive, was cited for 94485G, which is traffic control aids, which is, again, replace the curve that's missing. I cited the property July 10th, 2020, certified mail sent out August 31st, 2020, and posted the property September 17th, 2020. I haven't made contact with the owner. They're out of the country and they'll be returning shortly. So they need additional, they're gonna need 60 days to do it. So no problem with the 60 days and $100 a day after that.
All right, for the record, I need to correct, my previous order was on CE 200700130. 30, I think I misstated 31. Right.
Okay.
That correction for the record. So what's the curb control issue on this one?
Same as the last one, yeah. The curve is missing, used to be a driveway. It's no longer a driveway, and they need to replace the curve.
Okay. All right, in case CE 2007031, I make the following findings of fact and law. My notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of 9445G. I give the respondent 60 days to come to compliance or fine of $100 per day.
Number 34, 931 Charles Street, CE 200700365.
Don Williams, Code Enforcement, 931 Charles Street, cited for 18106G, paint exterior 78-6, number standards 18-106B, excessive growth, 94302A-4, which is fence and wall repair, and 9471C, outdoor storage. I actually cited this property July 22nd, 2020. Certified mail was sent and received September 2nd, 2020. I posted the property September 17, 2020. There is a new owner of this property and he's gonna need 90 days to comply. We have made contact with him and additional $100 fine after that date, 90 days.
All right, I see the paint. I see the missing numbers.
There's your fence.
There's the fence.
Well, the address is not there, so it's missing.
Yeah, there's the excessive growth. Okay. Oh, I guess outdoor storage. What's the outdoor storage?
Should be some stuff on the side of the house, like some wood or something. I don't know if I can see it in that photo.
The lawn looks all right.
I don't know what happened to that picture for outdoor storage, but there was some material.
Just testify to it for me. Tell me what you saw.
Yeah, some material like wood and some other buckets and stuff on the side of the property.
Okay. All right, in case, let's see where we are. CE 200700365. I make the following findings of fact and law. I notice sufficient to find the property in violation of 18106G, 978. 6, 18106B, 94302A4, and 9471C. Give the respondent 90 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day issue.
Number 35, 709 Sunset Road, CE 200700466.
Don Williams, Code Enforcement, 709 Sunset Road, was cited for 34102A, junk and abandoned vehicle, 9471C, outdoor storage. I actually cited the property July 31st, 2020. Certified mail sent and property posted on September 17th, 2020. No contact with the owners of the property. So I'm asking 30 days to comply or $100 a day after that.
Why is it junked or abandoned?
No tag, flat tires on 2 vehicles in the driveway. And also all the stuff that's inside the vehicle is loaded with stuff, garbage and.
Outdoor storage?
I'm sorry?
What's the outdoor storage?
The stuff in the vehicle, see all that?
Oh,
Nice storage facility.
that is,
No tags. Flat tires.
you know, that's kind of creative though.
Save on storage fee, right?
No, I mean, that's a creative use of the code section, but I believe technically you're right. Okay, in case, I guess you haven't had contact with these
No.
homeowners? No. All right, in case CE 200704666, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is good and sufficient. I find the property in violation of 34102A and 9471C. Respondent has, did you say 30 days? To bring the property into compliance or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 36, 844 Sunset Road, CE 200704668.
John Williams Code Enforcement, 844 Sunset Road, cited for 18106B, excessive growth, and 18106G, paint exterior. I actually cited this property on July 31st, 2020. Certified mail sent on August 28th, 2020, and I posted the property September 17th, 2020. No contact with the owners of the property, so I'm asking 30 days to comply violations or $100 a day fine after that.
Okay, and that's definitely excessive growth. And that's definitely pink. Okay. All right, in case CE 200704668, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106B and 18106G. Respondent has 30 days to come to compliance or fine of $100 per day.
Number 37, 345 30th Street, CE 200800046.
Joe Patrick, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This case in reference to an apartment building property that was issued a notice of violation on August 6th via posting and certified mail for removing and not replacing landscaping around the perimeter of the building. A permit is required to replace landscaping. The notice of violation gave the respondent 45 days to bring the property into compliance by obtaining a landscape permit and installing approved landscaping per city ordinance specifications. After the notice of violation was issued, I was contacted by the respondent's contractor, David White, and we discussed ways to bring the property into compliance. Mr. White applied for a landscaping permit on September 25th. I spoke to Mr. White and city staff regarding the permit on Monday, October 5th. Mr. White agreed the permit could be obtained and the work could be completed within 60 days. As of today, the property remains out of compliance with code sections 94-443B and 94-453A1B. The city is asking for 60 days to achieve compliance or a $100 a day fine be assessed.
Looks like they just tore out all the landscaping and put mulch down, right?
It's actually rock. Yeah, it's actually rock, which is prohibited there, and the landscape contractor understands that the rock's also prohibited, and he's going to replace it. He's been working with the landscape planners on a plan. It looks like it's going to move forward okay.
All right. In case CE 200800046, I'm calling finding of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 94-443B and 94-453A1B. I give the respondent 60 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $100 per day.
Number 38, 615 33rd Street, CE 200800179.
Joe Petrick, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This case in reference to a single family residence that was issued a notice of violation via posting and certified mail on August 6th for not having a rental license or certificate of use to rent the property. The notice of violation gave the respondent 45 days to cease renting the property or obtain a rental license and certificate of use. After the notice of violation was issued, I was contacted by the respondent, Ethan, and we discussed ways to bring the property into compliance. I have not heard back from Ethan. I tried to contact him via phone on a few occasions and received a voicemail. As of today, the property remains out of compliance. No rental license or COU has been applied for or obtained, and the property is still being rented in violation of code sections 18162A and 32A. The city is asking for compliance within 30 days or a $100 a day fine be assessed.
How do we know it's being rented?
I actually spoke to the property owner. He did say he was renting it. Additionally, I see some items outside. I've seen people walking around the property as I drive by it on occasion.
The property owner conceded that he was renting the property.
Yes, sir.
All right, in case CE 200801779, to make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 18162A and 2232A. Give the respondent 30 days to come into compliance or a fine of $100 per day, Mason.
Case number 393619 Pinewood Avenue, CE 200800264.
Joe Patrick, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This case in reference to a single-family residence that was issued a notice of violation for a wall in need of repair and painting, trash and debris on the property, the swale in need of weed removal inside, a chain link fence in disrepair, unmaintained landscaping on the property, and a portable storage unit that has been on the property for several months. Notice violation was issued via posting and certified mail on August 26th and gave the respondent 10 days to remove the trash and debris and to restore the swell with sod, and 30 days to comply to remove the pod, restore the landscaping, and repair the wall and fence. I have not been contacted by the respondent regarding this case. As of today, the property has come into compliance with code sections 18106A. The trash and debris has been removed, but remains out of compliance with code sections 18103J and 94302A4. The wall needs to be repaired and painted, and a chain link fence needs to be repaired or removed. 7894C remains out of compliance. The swale needs to be restored and sodded. 944462, the landscaping needs to be restored. And 94487B1, the pod needs to be removed. The city is asking for compliance within 30 days or a $200 a day fine be assessed.
So they need to paint. I guess they cleaned up the debris, right? Remove trash and debris in the swale, fix the fence, fix the landscaping, and remove the pod. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Only the wall. The wall needs to be repaired and painted. The house is okay. Just the wall.
The wall underneath the fence, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. And you've had no contact with the owner?
Not in this case. He's been cited in the past, and I have had contact with him and he and his tenants. But regarding this case, no, I haven't.
All right, case CE 200800264, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 18103J, 7894C, 94302A4, 94446-2, and 94487B1. I order the respondent to bring the property into compliance within 30 days or a fine of $100 per day.
100 or 200?
I'm sorry, Officer Petrick, what did you ask for? Did you ask for 200?
Yes, sir. I did ask for 200.
Is that because of the amount of violations on the property?
The amount of violation, the history there. He's been cited over the past year on 2 other occasions.
All right, yeah, make it 200, please.
Number 3615 Pinewood Avenue, CE 200800267.
That's complied.
Number 41-709 35th Street, CE 200800268.
Joe Patrick, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This case in reference to a single-family residence that was issued a notice of violation via certified mail and posting on August 26th for the exterior of the structure in need of cleaning and painting, excessive trash and debris, an inoperable vehicle on the property, and unmaintained landscaping. The notice of violation gave the respondent 30 days to comply. After notice of violation was issued, I was contacted by the respondent, Lewis, who stated he spoke with his tenants regarding the violations, and we discussed ways to bring the property into compliance. As of today, the property came into compliance with 18103J. The exterior of the structure has been cleaned and paint has been touched up and restored. And 34102A, the inoperable vehicle violation has been abated. The property remains in violation of 18106A. Though some of the trash and excessive debris have been cleaned up, much of it remains. And 9446-2 remains out of compliance. There are excessive weeds and overgrowth on the property, and the landscaping on the lot needs to be restored per city ordinance specifications. The city is asking for compliance within 30 days or $100 a day fine be assessed.
What about the 7894C, the swale?
So let's see, take a look. I know it wasn't restored yet. I'm just not sure if I included that in my violation. I have to take a look to confirm I included that. Yeah, I didn't include that code section on my violation.
Okay. All right, in case CE 2008026A, to make the following findings of fact and law, find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of, so they did the paint right, 18106A, they got that one, and 944462. I give the respondent 30 days to bring the property in compliance, or a fine of $100 per day shall issue.
Thank you.
Number 423601 Broadway, CE 200802669.
Joe Patrick, West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This case in reference to a vacant multi-unit property that was issued a notice of violation via certified mail and posting on August 26th for the roof, doors, and windows in disrepair, exterior stairways in disrepair, damaged electrical and utility boxes on the exterior of the property. The exterior of the property is in need of cleaning, repair, and painting. Trash and debris on the property. Weeds and overgrowth on the property and swale. And a damaged chain link fence on the perimeter of the property. The notice of violation gave the respondent 30 days to comply. After notice of violation was issued, I was contacted by the respondent. We discussed ways on how to bring the property into compliance. The respondent has been cooperative and has been in touch with her office on a regular basis. Progress has been made. However, the property has only come into compliance with one code section cited on the notice of violation. 18103F, the exterior stairways have been repaired. The property remains out of compliance with 18103B. More work is needed on the roof and exterior walls. 18103E, the windows have been boarded and repaired, but the doors are still needed repair. 18103I, some work has been done on the electrical and utility boxes, but more work needs to be done to bring that section into compliance. 18103J, most of the building has been painted, more is needed. 18106A, most of the bulk trash has been cleaned. He now has a dumpster on the property to help clean the property and put the excessive vegetation that he's cutting in, but still more work needs to be done in that code section as well. 7894C, the swale is needing sod and restoration. 94302A4, the chain link fence needs to be repaired. And 944462 is still in violation. The major overgrowth has been removed, but some removal and restoration is still needed. The respondent stated he'd be out of town and could not make the meeting. We agreed that he would have the property in compliance within 60 days. The city is asking for 60 days for compliance or a $200 a day fine be assessed.
Okay, in CE 2008026 to make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18103B, 18103E, 18103I, 18103J, 18106A, 7894C, 943028A4, and 944462. I give the respondent 60 days to come into compliance or a fine in the amount of $200 per day.
Thank you.
Number 44725 21st Street, CE 200700082.
Anderson Hilaire, code enforcement with the city of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on July 7th. Certified mail was sent on certified mail was sent on July 8th. I've had no contact with the property owner. The property was cited for 18162A, 18106A, 2232A, 34102A, 7434A1J, 94446-2, 94482A, 94485E, and 9471C. At this time, the city is requesting an additional 10 days for 7434A1J or $50 per day. And for the remaining violations, 30 days or $200 per day until compliance is achieved.
How do you know it's being rented? Cassandra, how do you know it's being rented?
The tenants, their cars and everything.
Have you spoken with them? Do you know that they're tenants? Officer St. Hilaire, the people on the property, you know that they're tenants?
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You know the people that are living on the property, how do you know that they're tenants?
How do I know what? I'm so sorry.
How do you know that they're tenants?
Well, they're coming out of that property. I see them all the time. I'm always in the area. I see them coming out of there and the cars are parked there. This is a rental community, basically. It's like two homes that are actually, that have actual owners in there, but most of the homes in 21st Street are rented out.
So there's multiple units there?
Yes, there's multiple units.
Multiple mailboxes?
Multiple. I think there's one picture where I posted it. You can see where the mailboxes are. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so there's multiple people living across that.
Yeah.
Multiple unrelated people living across here. Okay. The junk and abandoned vehicle.
Yeah, those vehicles over there on the side, none of them are registered or anything like that. They're just there, taking up space.
All right, landscape I can see.
And then the one right there where she's pointing, that one's is not operable at all.
There's parking, I guess, are they parking on the grass or are they?
Yeah, that's supposed to be grass there, but they've been parking there for so long and left the vehicle there for so long, it just ate everything up. And then there's the one vehicle in the rear as well.
All right, and I can see the outdoor storage. All right, so you want to give them $50, 10 days for the garbage can and 30 days for the rest?
Yes.
All right, in case CE 200700082, make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18162A, 18106A, 2232A, 34102A, 7434A1J, 944462, 9442A, 9445E, and 9471C. As to 7434A1J, I'll give the respondent 10 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 per day may issue. As for the remaining violations, the respondent has 30 days to bring the property into compliance or a fine of up to $200 per day may issue.
Case number 45, 721 21st Street, CE 200700085.
Sandra St. Hilaire, code enforcement with the city of West Palm. This property was cited July 7th. Certified mail was received on July 10th. The property and city hall were posted on July 9th. I've had no contact with the owner. The property was cited for 7434A1J, 78-1, and 94482A. At this time, the city is requesting an additional 10 days or $50 per day until compliance is achieved. There is the property right next to the last one you've seen. So.
So they have a visible garbage can, I presume, somewhere.
I'm sorry, they comply with the garbage can placement. I apologize.
Okay, so the obstruction right away, are they parking across the sidewalk?
Yeah, blocking the sidewalk, parking on the grass in the rear.
So primarily, so on this property, we're just concerned with the parking across the sidewalk and then parking on the grass.
Yes.
That's simply it. Okay. All right, case CE 2007008, make the following findings of fact and law. Find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 78-1 and 9482A. Respondent has 10 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $50 per damnation.
Number 46, 720 21st Street, CE 200700086.
Cassandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement with the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited July 7th. Certified mail was received on July 10th. The property and City Hall were posted on July 9th. I've had no contact with the property owner. This property was cited for 3412B, 7434A1J, and 94446-2. At this time, the property has complied with 94446-2 and 7434A1J. The city is requesting an additional 10 days or $50 per day for 34102B.
So it's just the inoperable vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And you want to give them 10 days or $50 per day, is that it?
Yes, sir.
And we know the vehicle's inoperable because it's unlicensed?
It's unlicensed. I think I did take a zoomed in picture just showing that the tag and everything's expired. And there is a flat tire on the side. You can't really see it where it's leaning. The tire's flat.
All right, KCE 200700086, make the following findings fact and life. I notice is sufficient upon the property violation of 34102B. Respondent has 10 days to come into compliance or fine of $50 per damnation.
Number 48, 1935 North Dixie Highway, CE 200800094.
Sandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement with the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on August 10th. Certified mail was sent on August 11th. The property and City Hall were posted on August 12th. This property was cited for 18105B, 18105J, and 18106A. At this time, this property has complied with 18105B. The city is requesting an additional 30 days or $50 per day for the remaining violations.
So it's paint and clean and sanitary is left?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, and how much time did you want to give them?
30 days,
And what fine were you seeking?
$50 a day.
So they fixed the wall?
They did. They fixed that little piece. It was a driver that accidentally hit it, and they fixed it. And they did email me, letting me know that they will be painting it. It's just taking them a little bit more time than they anticipated.
And aside from the paint, what's the clean and sanitary?
Just to grout everything on the side of the building, like just, I guess when they paint it, everything will be cleaned up. They just need to either pressure wash it or maybe the painting will help with that, like the corner areas on the side.
Okay. And they can do that within 30 days?
Yeah.
Okay, in case CE 200800094, I make the following findings of fact and law. I notice is sufficient upon the property in violation of 18105J and 18106A. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance and fine of $50 per day.
Number 49, 2030 East Parkway, CE 200801112.
Sandra St. Hilaire, Code Enforcement with the City of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on August 11th. A certified mail was signed for on August 15th. The property and City Hall were posted on August 12th. I've had no contact with the property owner. This property was cited for 94442C1 and 94451A. At this time, the city is requesting an additional 60 days or $100 per day until compliance is achieved.
So the landscaping?
It's the artificial turf that they have up front. It's prohibited in the front of the property.
So they basically have to pull up the turf and plant grass?
Plant grass.
One would think they would have checked that before they did that.
Well, yeah, it's been there for quite a while, and they were under the impression that they were grandfathered in, and which was explained to them that it's not because it's prohibited. So we're trying to give them the time to remove it.
So that's why you're giving them the 60 days.
The 60 days,
All right, in case CE 200080112, I make the following findings of fact and life. I notice is sufficient to find the property violation 94442C1 and 94441A. The respondent has 60 days to make property compliance and find a $100 per day violation.
Number 50, 1320 North Hamron Avenue, CE 200800286.
Anderson Hilaire, code enforcement with the city of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on August 20th. Certified mail was received on September 2nd. Property and City Hall were posted August 27th. I've had contact with the property owner. The property was originally cited for 1816A, 94402B2-2, 94482A, and 9471C. At this time, the city is requesting an additional 10 days or $50 per day until compliance is achieved.
Okay, so you've spoken with the property owner?
I did speak to them, and I'm not sure what's going on.
Did they indicate they were going to bring this into compliance?
Yeah, they did, and I even went and spoke to the tenant that they have in the front, just letting them know that they can't have like the banners and the stuff out there, and they said they would comply, but still there.
All right, so I see the banner, I see
There's like a little open flag there.
Yeah, I see that. What's the clean and sanitary issue?
Just keeping the property free of debris. Like if you look on the stairs area, they have like a lot of items just being stored there too, like trash and stuff.
Yeah. And I guess they're parking on that grass area adjacent to the building.
I'm so sorry.
The 9442, the parking. I'm guessing they're parking on that grass area adjacent to the building.
They are. They have like a few vehicles there.
And I guess that tank is the outdoor storage you're concerned about?
Yeah.
All right, so none of these things, all of these things could certainly be done relatively quickly, it looks like.
Yeah.
All right, in case CE 200800286, I make the following findings of fact and life. I notice it's sufficient to find the property violation of 18106A, 94402B2-2, 94482A, 9471C. I give the respondent 10 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $50 per day.
Number 51, 1335 North Magonia Drive, CE 200900005.
Anderson Hilaire, code enforcement with the city of West Palm Beach. This property was cited on September 1st. Certified mail was received on September 2nd. The property and City Hall were posted September 3rd. The property was cited for 1816A, 1816B, 18215B, 74-4C4, and 74-4C5. At this time, the city is requesting an additional 3 days or abate.
Tell me more about why you want an abatement here.
Well, it's badly overgrown, but it's not. That's not the only issue. It's been like that for months. We've had complaints from the neighbors, and as you can see, it's so close to this property. They have pests, vermin, rats, snakes, everything coming out of there, and we just need to get it.
This is an empty lot, basically.
It's an empty lot right next to residential homes.
And the growth on the lot is sufficiently large to become habitat for disease-carrying rodents.
Yeah, rodents, vermin, all types of animals are coming out of there. And we just want to get it cleaned up and just,
And then I presume the neighbors are complaining about things coming off of that lot?
Yes, a lot of things are coming out of there.
All right. In case CE 2009-0005, I make the following findings of fact and life. I notice is sufficient. You did post the property, right? You're on mute.
Yes, I did. I posted it on the 3rd,
And
September 3rd.
Certified mail, right, as well?
Yeah, certified mail was received on the September 2nd.
The property owner has not contacted you?
Nope.
All right. So I find that notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106A, 18106B, 18215B, 744C4, and 744C5. I make further finding that said violations constitute a threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the city of West Palm Beach. I order the respondent to come into compliance within 3 days. In the absence of compliance, I hereby authorize the city to enter the property and abate any all violations of the. And I hereby assess the cost of said violations against the property and property. The cost of said abatement against the property and property owners.
Number 53, 1121 Summit Boulevard, CE 20070328.
Richard Pasmino, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. This
Welcome
property
back.
was cited July 20th, 2020. Certified mail was sent July 24th and received July 27th. In addition, the property and City Hall were posted on September 4th, 2020. This property was posted for garbage can placement, repair roof. There was a deteriorating tarp hanging from the roof, and fence maintenance and outdoor storage. I have had no contact from the owner of the property. As of today, the only issue that has been fixed is the fence has been maintained, repaired. Everything else remains. That they did replace the tarp that was on the roof, but they have not applied for any permits. They have not reached out to me, and the roof needs repair. The city's recommending 30 additional days for this property to come into compliance, or the city's asking for $100 a day fine thereafter.
The garbage can placement still an issue?
I'm sorry.
The garbage can placement, is that still an issue?
It is. It's in one of the recent pictures. My reinspection was trash day, but there is still a garbage can on the side of the house that is visible. It is still an issue.
All right. The roof needs repair. The fence was fixed. What's the outdoor storage?
It's on the same side. Yeah, some of that. And there's more recent photos from yesterday, actually.
So that they're storing trash and debris outside their home.
Yeah, they're just kind of storing all their trash and receptacles right outside the fence, and accumulation of like the chair right there next to that garbage can.
All right, in case CE 200703228, I make the following findings of fact and life. I notice suspicion on the property in violation of 7434A1J, 18103B, 94302A4, and 9471C. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100. I'm sorry, strike 94302A4. That is not subject to this order. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance or fine of $100 per day.
Number 54, 425 East Lakewood Road, CE 200800183.
Richard Pasmino, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This property was cited August 21st, 2020. Certified mail was sent August 24th and received August 26th. The property in City Hall was posted on August 25th, 2020. This property was cited for Florida Building Code 105.1, failure to secure building permit for a fence that was installed on the property without permit, inspection, or approval. Florida Building Code 110.3, required inspections for permits. 18162A, rental license required. 2232A, certificate of use required. And 94-6, restrictions upon land use. That back unit at the property, it was permitted, and it's only supposed to be used as a game room, and that is being rented out as a second unit on the property. There's a listing in the file, there you go, where they were renting out that. There's some interior photos as well. There's also an email attached on the file from zoning stating that is only meant to be a game room. It's not meant to be occupied or have anyone living in there. I've had no contact from this property. There's been no changes, no permits applied for, no rental license application, The property is still occupied. And as of today, nothing has changed. The city's recommending 30 additional days for this property to come into compliance, or the city is asking for a $100 a day fine thereafter.
Is there somebody living in that back room?
Yes, there is. The tenant of the main house in the front is the one who called and told me about the whole situation. And there is someone living in the back there.
So there's 2 tenants on the property.
Yes.
All right. All right. So the fence obviously is new, and that was not permitted to the best of your knowledge.
It's not permitted. It's not included in any of the permits. It's a brand new house that was put there, and it's not included in any of the permits. And the fence, they built the fence on the property as well to separate the 2 units.
Okay.
So in the backyard, the fence runs along the property to separate the back and the front.
All right. I'm sorry. And what was the remedy that you were seeking, Officer Pesmina?
30 days or $100 a day.
They've got to essentially get this permitted, or at least apply for permits, right?
Yes, and that back unit, more importantly, can't be occupied, and they have no rental license to occupy either unit.
All right, in case CE 200800183, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 105.1, 110.3, 18162A, 2232A, and 94-6. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property in compliance. A fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 55, 6717 South Flagler Drive, CE 200800316.
Richard Pesmino, Code Enforcement Officer, City West Palm Beach. This property was cited August 28th, 2020. Certified mail was sent August 31st and received September 2nd. In addition, the property and City Hall were posted on September 4th, 2020. This property was cited for Florida Building Code 105.1, failure to secure building permit for some royal palm trees that were installed in the parkway at this property. It was installed prior to applying for the permit. They did apply for a permit later on. Florida Building Code 110.3 required inspections, and 78-94-B restrictions on planting for those palm trees as well. All the reviews for the permit regarding the palms have failed. That the palms cannot be planted there due to a water main that is runs along the city right away in that area. I have made contact with the general contractor in charge of this project, and he understands that the trees have failed, the permits have failed, and the trees cannot exist there. They do need to be removed. The general contractor says he should be able to do it within 30 days, if not sooner. So the city's recommending 30 additional days for the trees to be removed, this property to come into compliance, or the city's recommending $200 a day fine.
One would think you would check before you plant big trees like that.
Yeah.
All right, in case CE 200800316, I make the following findings of fact and law. We've been going at this for a while.
Yeah.
I find the property in violation of 105.1 and 110.3 and 7894B. I order the respondent to come into compliance within 30 days or fine of $200 per day.
Number 56, 5601 Hobart Ave, CE 200803229.
Richard Pesmino, Code Enforcement Officer, City West Palm Beach. This property was cited September 3rd, 2020. Certified mail was sent September 4th, 2020, and received September 8th. In addition, the city hall and property were posted September 4th, 2020. This property was cited for garbage can placement, bulk goods and white goods stored outside in the front yard, obstruction of the right-of-way, the sidewalk being blocked, remove prohibited vehicles. They were storing 2 huge box trucks, commercial vehicles on the property, restrictions upon land use. The complaint was coming that those commercial trucks were being used for a business they were operating. They do have a home occupation license, but with that license, there can be no evidence of home-based business and outdoor storage. As of today, the only remaining violations on the property are 94-487-B1 and 94-6. I have made contact with the owner of the property who had me go re-inspect the property. He believed it was in compliance. There's tenants that are living there. And as of yesterday, the property is not in compliance. The truck does remain still. The city's recommending 7 days for this property to come into compliance or $100 a day fine.
So all we really have left are these two big trucks, is that it?
There was one yesterday, but yeah, the trucks cannot be stored or parked on the property.
And all they have to do to come to compliance is remove the truck?
Yes.
Truck?
Yes.
All right, so 7 days seems reasonable to me. In case CE 200080329, to make the following findings of fact and law. Find notice is sufficient upon the property in violation of 9447B1 and 94-6. Respondent has 7 days to bring the property in compliance with fine of $100 per day may issue.
Number 57 is complied, 722 Rockland Drive, CE 200803337. Number 59 is complied, 5000 Webster Avenue, CE 200900051. Number 60, 1444 Okeechobee Road, CE 200900100.
Good afternoon. Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 1444 Okeechobee Road was initially cited on 9/10/20. Certified mail was sent on 9/11/20. Certified mail was returned on October 2nd, 2020. The property as well as City Hall was posted on 9/11/2020. The property was cited for 74-4-C-5, 94-315-A, and 18-106-B. As of last evening, the following code sections have complied: 74-4-C-5 and 18-106-B. The remaining code section is 94-315-A, which is actually an enclosure for the dumpster. I had spoken to a representative for the property management company. They indicated they would like some additional time in order to comply with the dumpster enclosure. And with that, the city's requesting 60 additional days in order to comply, or a fine of $50 per day be imposed.
They're going to have to permit and build a structure, presumably, right?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, in case CE 200900100, make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient upon the property violation 94-315-A, give the respondent 60 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $50 per day.
Number 61 is complied, 1301 Alpha Street, CE 200900103. Number 62 is complied, 1290 Alpha Street, CE 200900126. Number 63 is complied, 1215 Alpha Street, CE 200900128. Number 64 is complied, 1319 Alpha Street, CE 200900135. Number 65 is complied, 1321 Alpha Street, CE 200900136. Number 66 is complied, Longwood Street, CE 200900140. Number 67, 1326 Longwood Street, CE 200900142.
We were on such a roll.
I know. Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 1326 Longwood Street was cited on 9/11/20. Certified mail was sent on 9/11/20. Certified mail was returned on 9/19/20. The property as well as City Hall was posted on 9/11/20. Property was cited for 18100 safe egress, 18103E external doors and windows in disrepair, and 18106B excessive growth. As of last evening, the following code sections have complied: 18-100 and 18-103-E. The remaining code section is no, excuse me, let me, correction. The following code section did comply 18106B, which is what I did say. The remaining code sections are in fact 18-100 and 18-103E. The city's requesting 45 days additional in order to comply, or a fine of $100 per day be imposed. The windows on the west side of the house, there's multiple windows on the west side of the house that are in disrepair and or boarded. So with that, once again, the city is requesting 45 additional days in order to comply, or a fine of $100 per day be imposed. It's somewhat doubtful that that will happen in light of the fact that there is a prior case back in 2016 where there's fines currently running for other code sections, and those fines as of last evening are in excess of $105,000.
So you're trying to tell me they're probably not going to listen to what I say?
Probably not. Probably not.
So the issue in this case is that the windows are improperly boarded without a permit. Is that essentially?
They are boarded. They've been boarded for, I believe, for a period of time, and also they look to be in disrepair.
But they don't have a boarding permit that you're aware of?
No, they do not.
Okay, and have you had some contact with the people on the property or not?
No contact other than the property was posted. The certified mail was returned unsigned, but the property was in fact posted. Same ownership from the prior case where fines are running from 2016, same ownership based on what we're able to determine at any rate.
Based on your observations, these windows are boarded probably because they're in disrepair underneath?
That is what I believe. From my vantage point, they look to be in disrepair.
Okay, and you want to give them 45 days?
45 days, yes.
All right, we're on 67, right, Erica?
Yes.
All right, in case CE 200900142, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of 18100 and 18103E. Give the respondent 45 days to bring the property in compliance, or fine of up to $100 per day.
Number 68, 1301 Wellington Street, A, CE 200900145.
Michael Williams, Code Enforcement Officer, City of West Palm Beach. Property 1301 Wellington Street was cited on 9/14/20. Certified mail was sent on 9/14/20. We do have a signed certified mail receipt on file. The property is, as well as City Hall, was posted on 9/14/20. Property was cited for multiple violations: 18100, 18106A, 18106G, 18106M, 34-102-A, 74-34-A-1-J, 78-1, 94-482-A, and 94-71-C. As of last evening, the only violations that remain are 18106G, 74-34-A-1-J, and 94-71-C. I had spoken with the owner of the property. I had a phone conversation with him on 9/23. The owner, Mr. Walker, he indicated that he was out of state and requested some additional time in order to comply. The city's requesting 60 additional days in order to comply, or a fine of $100 per day be imposed in light of the fact that he indicated he was out of state and is requesting some additional time. They have, made some really good progress, but there's 3 code sections that still remain.
So they removed the panels, they painted the place, they fixed the landscaping, and they didn't move the garbage can?
Well, They removed the panels. They cleaned up a lot of the trash and debris. They still have a little bit more to go on that. The landscaping, they took care of that just by not parking vehicles onto the landscaping, because there was areas where the landscaping was actually dying because of vehicles being parked on there daily. They cured the obstruction of the public right-of-way, which the sidewalk sand had started to cover the sidewalk. And also they ceased the parking of the vehicles onto the unapproved surfaces. So they've got a little ways to go on the outdoor storage. The garbage cans, I noted 2 garbage cans still in public view. And also the painting of the entire structure needs to still occur.
All right, okay, so I misunderstood that. So they still have to paint 18106G.
Yes.
The outdoor storage is still not completely removed.
Yes. And also, right, and also the garbage cans need to be placed out of public view.
Well, I don't mean to make additional work for either me or you, but it looks like the landscaping was pretty rough underneath where those cars were parked. Did they fix that?
Yes, that was fixed as well. All of the landscaping issues have been cured.
Okay, all right, so we have 3 code sections remaining. And
right.
And you wanted to give them how long?
60 additional days, yes. In light of the fact that he is out of state and it's going to take a little bit to paint the structure. Fair
enough. All right. In case CE 200904145 and the following findings of fact and law, I find that notice is good and sufficient. I find the property continues to be in violation. I'm sorry, the property is in violation of 18106G, 9471C, and 743481J. I give the respondent 60 days to keep the property in compliance or a fine of $100 per day.
Thank you.
I believe that's it, right? I'm sorry, go ahead, Erica.
No, I said that completes the agenda.
All right, is there any further business from the city? No, okay. This meeting is, thanks. Anyone that made it all the way through, thanks for staying with us, and this meeting is hereby adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you all in the real world moving